You're about to experience the uncensored conversations, stimulating wit, and the thought-provoking wisdom. Bold, raw, and uncut. Right now, on the Lance Scurv Show.
Surprise, surprise, I caught you. Like a thief in the night. We're back. We have Sister Rainetta Jones on, and she has something that she has to share. Profound information as always. Sister Rainetta, I'm here. I'll be talking with you, but I'm going to be quiet and just let you flow. Talk to me, sister. It's a pleasure, as always.
Hi, Lance. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you loud and clear, sister.
Wonderful. Hi, GBF. How are you? I hope everyone is fine. I hope everything is good. Lance, I want to tell you thank you for this platform. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk. Today, you guys are going to get a pen and paper because the downloads I have to give you is what I've received from the cosmos, from the vehicles of change, who we call the African gods, or what we call gods are actually technology, okay? And also the genetic codes of what Black people, what the GBF have been crying out for. Your prayers have been heard, and these are the answers. You could take it and do with it what you will. Now, some of you are not going to listen to me because I'm a woman. Some of you are not going. Some of you are going to miss the message because of your own little box, and you want to be supreme above everybody else. You're going to miss it. But we're going to get right into it. There's a cry that's been a cry of the ages among the GBF worldwide. Why is it that we have things like gang violence? And we want to put a stop to the gang violence. Why is it that we have so much self-hate? And what the ancestors showed me was this. They said this goes back to the Berlin Conference. At the same time, they said, I got to take you further back and give you a template. Okay? I am not saying become a Christian. I am just using this as an archetype to paint a picture. Okay, archetype. When you look at the gang, and gang violence has gone down, it has significantly gone down, but we're on the last legs of it. And there's a cry all over the world, all over the GBF, with the tribal wars and the gang violence in the Caribbean that just sprouted up. It's about 20 years old in the Caribbean. The gang violence in the Americas. And GBF worldwide saying, you know, when is this self-hate going to stop? And the download that I got was this. They said, look, I want to show you some secrets. They said, never forget that before you're civilized, can anyone tell me where did they study? They studied in Africa for 200 years. They took the civilizing force back to Europe, and they were given a lot of ancient mysteries and keys, which at a later date they corrupted and then turned around and used to perpetually destroy Black people up to today. They said, I want to paint to you a picture. And this is the picture. We're going to use the archetype in the Bible because it's an archetype all of us can understand. They said in Africa, when Africa was one, okay, when the tribes stopped fighting, they created borders. And they said, okay, for example, let's use Nigeria. They said, we are Hausa, we'll take this part of Nigeria. You are Igbo, you take that part. You are Yoruba, you take that part. You are Igbo, you take that part. You are a Ibibio, you take that part. As an example, this is an example. In the United States of America, when the tribes had their nations, the Seminoles said, okay, we'll take that part. The Blackfoot said, we'll take that part. The other tribes, the Chickasaw said, we'll take that part. And there was peace. Because why? Because even though your genetics are one, this is what they wanted me to tell you. They said you must understand this. Your genetics are one. you come from the same mother, you come from the same father. But like the same in a family, you have brothers and sisters. If each doesn't find his own place, or today we call that your own lane, okay? We say more lane today. If each brother and sister doesn't find their own lane to operate, they'll fight each other. They said, when these nations made treaties with these entities, these dark forces, the dark forces gave them the keys to how to conquer the GBF. They said, look, in order to conquer them, they must never understand or never be allowed to remember they come from one mother and one father. The second thing you must do is you must divide their land and cut through the land. And where you had two tribal brothers living side by side in peace, when you divide up the land, they're going to be perpetually at war. When you look at gang violence in Chicago, you're literally watching the Seminole fight the Blackfoot, the Yoruba fight the Hausa, the Luo fight the Maasai. When you're looking at gang violence in Jamaica, you're literally watching this tribe fight that tribe. That is literally what you're watching. They said they gave them the keys and they told them, they said to make them kill their own image. They must never, ever remember they come from the same eternal mother and the same eternal father. The second thing that they must never, ever, ever, the second key they must never understand is those borders. Let me give you an archetype. And I'm not saying become a Christian. I'm saying this is an archetype because many of you came out of Christianity. But the archetype still stands. When Yahweh, who I don't like, brought the children of Israel out from Egypt, when he brought them into the land, what did he do? He said there are 12 tribes. He gave Issachar his border. He gave Dan his border. He gave Reuben his own border. Judah their own border. Why? Because he knew, even though he's Lucifer and the devil, but this is an archetype, that in a family, each son must have their own border. Each son must manifest their own genetics. Each son must live through their genetics and manifest their own reality within their own border. When you're looking at the tribe, who you call gangs in Chicago, their borders were taken away from them and they were lumped one on top of each other. And when people don't have borders, this is why they perpetually fight each other. When you look at the Christos, the Negus Christos, and I have something, don't call him a Negus Christos. I said, I don't care what you say because you didn't give me the message. The Negus Christos, the black Christos called Nip. He was working not just to bring the tribes in California together, but if he was allowed to live, he would have brought the tribe, which is what you call today, because this is his language. They call them gangs today, the Crips and the Bloods. They are tribes. And these two tribes are fighting each other. He was not just bringing them together. He was going to bring two continents together. That these evil forces, as in Memorandum 46 says, they must never come together. The tribes on the motherland and the tribes in the ancient lands called the Americas, even though the West twisted and called it the New World. No, the Americas is not the New World. The Americas is the Old World. He was working to build a brick. So what did they do? They sent a killmonger. And I said to black people, watch out for that killmonger energy in the form of a Judas who was paid by the Sadducees and Pharisees. And they put him to death via Rome. What is the message? The first message today, GBF, is that you have to recognize GBF is that your tribe, whether your tribe A dot or your tribe C dot, Caribbean descendants of slaves, or your tribe A dot, whatever it is, or your literal tribe, like a Seminole or a Blackfoot or a Choctaw, okay? Or your literal tribe in Africa. A tribe is the nucleus of the cell. But in order to have a cell, you have to have different components of the cell. Those collective tribes make up a nation. And that nation is protected by the cellular membrane. That cellular membrane is a kingdom. GBF, you fight for tribes while you miss the kingdom. Let me show you how you do it. I'm black and I worship Allah. And you're a Christian and you worship Jesus. Heathen, two tribes. They fight over ideology and miss the kingdom. The kingdom that gave birth to two of you. That's why I don't mess with religion. That's one of the reasons. Or you are a Crip. That is your tribe. And you are a Blood. That is your tribe. And you miss the kingdom. You fight. I have the Hebrew Israel saying, you Bantus are the children of Ham. Because we're better. Because we will get, shut up. You're a tribe. And your tribe is not better than any other tribe. We have the tribe of Judah. Shut up. There is an old saying. It is better to be a living dog than a dead lion. And you who claim that your tribe is superior to the other tribe, I'm Shem and you're Ham. Or I'm Allah and you're Jesus. Or I'm Jesus and you're Allah. You're a tribe. And you both miss the kingdom. Or I'm Igbo and you're Hausa. Or I'm Ibibio and you're Yoruba. You're a tribe. Don't miss the kingdom. I'm not saying don't build your tribe up. I'm saying build your tribe up. But when you look at a cell, the nucleus is your tribe. But there are other components in the cell that gives the cell life, that makes the cell work, that makes the cell do its job. And that's the nation with which the tribes belong. But the cell that holds all of these components together is the kingdom. GBF. Work with your tribe to build your kingdom. And anyone coming to tell you, I am this tribe, to hell with you. And I am that tribe, to hell with you. Can one hand clap by itself? The only time one hand can clap by itself is when it slaps its face. The only time one hand can clap is when it slaps. I can't hear what this person is saying. I cannot hear what this person is saying. But I'll say this. GBF, your tribe is important, but not above another tribe. They showed me, they said, listen, the reason why they're fighting in Chicago the way they are is because they literally mix ancient tribes together who once had a border, who once had their own destiny as a tribe. And they lumped them one on top of each other, and they're fighting them to the duel. They heard your prayer. The cosmos black people have heard your prayer, because many of you are keep saying, why do we have this self-hate? And they have given me the answer, not because I'm better, but because I listen. They said they literally gave them the keys, these entities that they made alliances with, so that they can control this planet. gave them the keys. They said the first way we destroy them is to get two tribes who once lived peacefully amongst each other, lump them together. They'll fight each other. Then the second thing we do is destroy their borders and give them our borders. They will fight perpetually. You Crips, you Bloods, you are brothers of the same tribe. Get it? You who are at war in Chicago and you're killing each other, you are of the same, not the same tribe, the same genetics, but you're different tribes. You got to find your border. Find your spiritual borders. And that's why they lump them together. And they fight. It's the same as in a family. And I said, what's the solution to this? They said the tribes have to come together. And literally, all the tribes in Africa have to come together. And they got to make peace. Because Africa, they said, I heard the prayer of Africa crying out, we want to be one. They said, but if you become one without recognizing, guys, there's a lot of noise on the phone. They said, if we come together, if you come together before working out the tribal differences, they will come again to destroy what you're planning to do, what you're attempting to build. They said the tribes must come together and make peace with each other. Recognize, they said to me, they told me this a long time ago. They said the African tribes are one. They come from one mother, one father, one kingdom. The tribes in the Americas are one. They come from one mother, one father, one kingdom. But like in a family, you have three brothers and sisters, and they all look differently, but yet they hold the genetic structure of both their mother and their father. And like in a family, they fight until they have their own lane. Their lane represents their borders. And what they did, when they gave them the keys to destroy the GBF, they said destroy their borders and never let them know that they were once at peace within their borders, even though they come from the same ancestral mother and the same ancestral father. That's the first thing. The second thing is they told me, they said, listen, they said blacks were designed for a type of currency transfer where they were supposed to do trade. And today they trade just using money. They said, but they were supposed to trade using genetics. And this broke the key to why they are after the black gene via eugenics to destroy it. Because you were never supposed to be told that your mode of currency is your genetics. It's your genetics first before it's paper money. It's your genetics first before it's gold. It's your genetics first before it's diamonds. It's your genetics. Your genetics is the key. And they said you were supposed to trade in the cosmos. Then when you receive the keys via genetic transfer, you trade on this planet. They said that is why you're losing. Your genetic currency is your cosmic currency. That is why they are after us with eugenics to annihilate us, so we never learn. Our original currency was a genetic currency that allowed us to communicate with the cosmos. And they brought us down where we're fighting and killing each other over a paper dollar. It doesn't mean you don't do business. You do business. It doesn't mean we don't want economic liberation. We want economic liberation. We want no equality with no one. We want to govern our own self without having some slave master drive us with a whip. And one of those genetic currencies, yes. Hello? He forgot to mute his phone. One of those ways, I'm going to show you a shape, a secret shape. This planet, when they usurped on this planet, they took away the correct shape this planet was supposed to be governed by, which was the divine cosmic circle. And they instituted the triangle. And not just any triangle. Though the triangle, which is what we call the pyramid, not the pyramids in Egypt, okay? Not the pyramids in Egypt. I'm just saying the triangle of the hierarchy on this planet. And how they govern the planet is a hierarchy. The planet was not supposed to be governed by an acute triangle. It looks more like an isosceles triangle, where you have two sides that are equal, but the way it's executed, it's more like an acute triangle where all three sides aren't equal. Get it? They took away the divine circle. This is why when you look at African cosmology, when you look at indigenous cosmology, when you look at indigenous sacred sciences, it's all governed by the circle, not a damn triangle. Ask yourself why. Why is the planet governed by one slice of a pizza instead of the whole damn pizza? Okay? So GBS, your genetics is your currency. And that currency, when you begin to trade with it, when you do genetic currency exchanges, we call it like-minded people linking with like-minded people. Right? When you begin to trade using your genetics, not buying and selling your genetics, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying put a microchip inside of you or sell your genetics to some Frankenstein scientist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying trade on a genetic level. When you begin to tap in on a genetic level, when you begin to trade and interact with the cosmos, you're going to see things begin to change. You're going to see your money coming through. You're going to see awakening. You're going to see reality open to you. You're going to begin to activate your genetic technology, which goes back to God. God is not a man on two legs. God is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed nor created. It can only be transferred. God is not a man on two legs. And God is dark matter from which light comes out of. Now, we know dark matter absorbs light. It absorbs all spectrum of light. But it also radiates. And I know some are going to say, the physicists are going to say, this is nonsense. Oh, yes, it does. You just haven't discovered the science yet. Just like there's a second sun in the earth. What? This chick is crazy. Here goes planet Moonbeam again. And then 100 years from now, they're going to say, oh my God, there's a second sun in the earth. Yeah, because when you block this one out, the sun in the earth told me I'll burn your ass up from the earth. But that's okay. That's for another day. Telling you. Your genetics is the keys to the cosmos. The cosmos does their currency exchange in genetics. Black people, 1 second.
That's a little surround sound, that's all. That's
okay.
It's showing that this thing is live. Go ahead, Sister Rainetta.
Black people, GBF. The key to your wealth is your genetics. And the highest form of exchange in the cosmos is genetics. And GBF, what makes you special, not better, is that your genetics is literally the blueprint. Why do you think it's you they're kidnapping off the goddamn planet and selling into slavery in space? Why do you think these Frankenstein scientists are doing everything? They're giving women vaccines and sterilizing them. They're doing all sorts of shit. And every time they do all sorts of evil to black people, it backfires on their own people. And they're like, oh shit, why does this keep happening to us? Damn, we did that to black people. It's not supposed to be happening to us. We're trying to decrease their goddamn population. And every time they try to decrease our population, it backfires on them and kills them. And they can't figure it out yet. Black people, your main currency is your genetics. And when you begin to activate your genetic currency, like money, and you trade using genetic currency, you begin to create gen tech. You know what gen tech is? Genetic technology that only your genetics can activate. That's why they can't crack the codes of the pyramids and all how they lie and they try. Every time they interpret those pyramids, I go, oh, they missed the mark. Because they don't have the genetic codes. Those things can only be activated by a specific genetic code. And then you activate your spirit tech, which is technology that can only be activated via your spirit. The Christians call this the Holy Spirit. Your God is not a man on two legs. Your God can come in the form of a man on two legs. But the real God is energy. Shango can come in the form of two legs. But Shango is energy. And when you put Shango into a phone, he can light up a phone. Lightning. Get it? Mm-hmm. Yahweh said 3 days before he created the sun and the stars, and I asked Christians this, I said, okay, why did Yahweh create light before he created the sun? You know, none of them can explain it. I said, ask yourself. Ask. How was light created? And I'm not going to give the answer. I said, how was light created before you had the sun and stars? They said, well, he's God. He could do whatever he wants. I said, but then you turn around and you say that Lucifer is the light bearer. And then you turn around and you say, Jesus said, I am the light. I'm not going to go there today. You figure it out. Your gods are vehicles of technology. They're not just gods. And your spirit, when you begin to do your genetic currency transfers with the cosmos first, and then down to the earth second, you will begin to produce and build. And they can never replicate it because it will only require your spirit, which has your signature alone, and your genetics, which is your genetics alone. Gen tech and spirit tech. Black people, tap into your cosmic current, your genetics. Any questions?
Well, we don't have a line open now. If anybody, this is a rare chance to speak to Sister Rainetta. So if you'd like to call in, I'd say call in on the conference line, but I don't have it connected as of yet. I'm going to do that right now. So while we have you here, let me set this thing up right now, Sister Rainetta. And I just pulled out my mouse. Why did I do that? Just give me a second, sweetheart. It's always a good thing to have you here. And I'm going to make full use of that opportunity. Just give me a second. In the meantime, okay, here we go. Just going to join these lines up. Hold tight. Okay, we emerged. Anybody want to speak directly to Rainetta Jones? Call in at 888-575-3769. The lines are joined. Rainetta, it sounds like you muted yourself. Let me know if you're still there. We are connected. Let me know that we're still here, Rainetta. You still with me? I think you're on mute because your line is still connected, Rainetta. Check your phone and see if you're on mute. Because I'm hearing dead silence. Okay, we're good. We're good.
This call is being recorded.
It's something I did. All right, Rainetta. I hear you loud and clear. We have Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 414. Welcome to the Lance Scurv Show. Actually, Black Sunrise, Rainetta Jones. And for all those who are listening, please subscribe to her channel on YouTube directly. She has a lot more goodies on there. We have 917. Rainetta Jones' YouTube channel is Black Sunrise, and the sun is spelled S-O-N instead of S-U-N. It's not S-U-N, it's S-O-N. Black Sunrise on YouTube. 414, talk to me. We're going to open your line first.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah, speak to Sister Rainetta. She's here with you.
Okay, this is Isaac. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I believe I've been on her line before.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we're here.
And I got some advice. I did the spiritual cleansing and everything that she showed me. And I believe I am in touch with my ancestors and everything. And it changed my life in a dramatic way. I mean, I work with people that I could not work with before.
Right.
And they're actually, I have kinfolk that I know that don't like me at all. And they have been paying me. I'm into real estate, and I rehabilitate housing and stuff like that. And I just purchased my first property. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for Sister Rainetta?
Okay.
We have a bunch of calls on the line right now. Do you have any questions?
It's okay, Lance.
Okay.
Lance, it's okay. Let him tell his testimony because that way other people know I'm not a fraud.
All right. Go ahead. We know you're not a fraud, sister. Go ahead, brother.
No, I just purchased my first rental property, and I haven't gotten to reevaluating it yet. But it's like people just been coming out the woodwork with work for me, and just it's so much I can't even take it all. I just got in the house just from doing some rental property with my mother, and me and my mother we argue all the time, and me and her are getting along like best friends. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't know what the heck happened, but something's happening great. So I've been doing the herbal bathing, and it's just been helping me, man. And I've been fasting, and I've been changing my diet. I switched from eating meat to a vegan diet. So I'm working on myself spiritually, and I know I got a long way to go, but it helped me a lot so far. I didn't have any questions. I just wanted to just say that everything's been working out for me ever since I tuned in with you guys. And I appreciate it.
Most definitely.
You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. And for those asking, how do we tap into our gen tech? How do we tap into our genetic currency? He's telling you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you need more practical advice, I'm going to hear it from the Hebrew Israelites. Many of you have abandoned who gave birth to you. your mother, your father, you can see, your grandparents who you can see, your great grandparents, you have to create a family tree. You cannot abandon these things to go worship Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then wonder why your life is a mess.
Right.
You have to build your family tree and put it in front of you. And for those of us in the Americas, it's going to be very hard without a genetic test. Some don't want to touch genetic tests. Others don't mind. My advice is go with a private company. If you can't go with a private company, then you're going to have to get it done so you can trace back your genetic tree much longer to find who your tribes are. Study where you come from. This is how you begin to tap into your genetic currency. Okay? This is one of the first ways to tap into your genetic currency. There was an experiment done in the United States where they asked, I think it was Brother Ranuka Rashidi. I think it was him. It was him or someone else. He said, do you know every white American in the United States know where their ancestors come from, down to the town that they came from? Why do you think they have all the genetic power on this planet? Because they know who they are. And this is why I tell Black people, okay, you want to follow the Bible? Follow the Bible. But the Bible clearly tells you to abdicate your genetics. It tells you don't focus on genetic fights and this and that. It's in there. And I'm like, no, you have to trace where you come from. But you cannot fight over a tribe. When tribes make up a nation and nations make up kingdoms. When your enemies come against you, they come against you with kingdom power. That's why we are scattered people, because we don't fight as a kingdom. You got the Hebrew Israelites telling the black children of Allah, oh, you worship a moon god and you worship the devil. Then you have the children of Allah telling the black Christians or whatever, oh, your God is a devil. The two of you are fighting like tribes. We have to abdicate the tribal wars, the Crips fighting the Bloods, the tribes in Chicago fight. These are tribal wars. We got to fight and move as a kingdom. Yes, I recognize your tribe and I respect your tribe. Yes, I recognize your tribal boundaries. But tribes make up nations and nations make up kingdoms. Then you begin to tap in to your genetic currency. And when you put your hand to do something, all of a sudden it explodes in your face. He's not the first person to tell me. He said, Rainetta, I took your back. I don't know what the hell. My whole life turned around. He's not the first. I'm not surprised. Because that's what I do. Anybody else?
Yes, let me open up another line. I'm going to go down each line one at a time. And thank you, my brother, for sharing that. Next, we have 917-945. We have another New York person here, but 917-945. If you'd like to speak to Sister Rainetta Jones, your line is open. Going once. Maybe you're muted. Check to see if you're muted. Okay, you just want to listen. No problem. I'm going to close that line off. Now we have 951-660. 951-660, Riverside, California. Your line is open.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Kimberly Harrison. I'm calling to say thank you for having Sister Rainetta on the line, teaching us so much.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. I think she's answered the question I had about how to tap into our cosmic futures, and we'll go on and get into the ancestries and learn our histories from our people.
Right.
And I can't thank you guys enough for all the information you guys are giving us. We love you guys and hope to see you guys soon.
Definitely. Speak to her directly. She's right here on the line, even though you're talking.
Hi, Sister. Hi, Sister Rainetta. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi,
is there anything I can help you with?
Okay,
in private. Maybe in private.
Yeah,
Private?
Yeah, private.
I will send the message. Okay.
Yeah, email, private.
All right,
yeah,
thank
you
I
so
picked
much.
up your spirit and I was like, not
Okay.
it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome,
I
sis.
love you guys.
Love you.
All
Be
right,
blessed.
thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.
Bye. You too. Thank you.
Next caller we have is from New York City, 917-716. Your line is open. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. Sister Rainetta, good afternoon, my sister.
Good afternoon, Queen Mother. What's up?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you so much for the message that you're bringing to the people. And I want you to continue bringing to the people because we love you and we keep listening and we keep learning.
Yes.
Okay, my sister, keep the power. We love you.
Thank
Love you,
Queen
Sister
Mother.
Rainetta. Love you.
Love you, Queen Mother. Your spirit is a Queen Mother. Your
Yes.
spirit is a Queen Mother. Have you checked your ancestry?
No, I have to do that. I have to do that.
Your spirit is
I
a
have
Queen
to-
Mother, and you're from the line of tribal warriors.
Oh, thank you so
Hold
much.
on,
Thank you
hold
so
on,
much.
hold on. And you also have a line. Wow, it's a lot of black people with these lines. It's a one part is the warrior, and the other part is like a priestly class, but not priest like we know it. You understand? The gatekeepers, the
Yes.
guardians of the secret. Okay?
Okay.
And your hands,
Yes, thank you.
your hands work with the roots of the tree. I'll leave that be.
Thank you so much. One day I would like to meet you, my sister. I would like to meet you because
Sure.
you're full of the message, and I can tell you that a lot of my people who are listening right now, they're happy for your teaching.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Even though that you might have some negative people between, but we won't bother with them. But we love you and just keep it up.
You're
Brother
welcome.
Lance, thank you so much for this channel, and continue the good work.
Thank
and
you.
our people gonna strive to perfection.
Yes, we
Give
will.
thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Sister Rainetta, give thanks to you.
Thank you.
Stay blessed, Queen Mother.
Yes.
That's
All right.
beautiful. That's beautiful. We're going to go on to the next line. We're taking our time at opening up lines. We're going to leave them muted until we open them up. And we're going to leave each line muted until we open them up. The next one is from Columbus. We're going to leave each line muted until we open them up, or you will get cut off. Let's show some respect. It's 706-315. 706-315.
Hello.
Columbus, Georgia.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Scars?
Yes, Scurv is good. Mr. Scurv is good. We have Sister Rainetta here. We can feel the energy and power this afternoon. This is an unexpected surprise to go live. Talk to Sister Rainetta. She's here with us.
Hey, I'm excited to finally get to talk to you, Sister Rainetta. I just want to say I'm grateful for this channel. And like I said, Lance, I'm glad you're doing good. But because I noticed that you were sick, so I'm glad you're doing better. Sister Rainetta.
Oh no, it was just a routine.
You.
Before people think I'm really sick, it was just a routine.
Okay,
I don't want to put. I got to put it out there now. No, it's okay. A colonoscopy, just a routine thing, and I'm in good health.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Good. I got a little nervous when I saw that. But,
Right. I know.
But Sister Rainetta, I want to thank you because I've been trying to eat better, and I noticed my health doing a little bit better, and I remember you talking about being a targeted individual. The reason I wanted to say something about that is because I've been eating better, but I got some juju on me, unfortunately. So they kind of been attacking whatever foods that I like to eat. But the Most High is still watching me. For some reason, I don't know what my bloodline is or what special thing that I'm supposed to do, but I got a lot of people that want me dead. So I'm really interested in the whole genetics thing and trying to get a genetic test done and see what's going on, because I have no idea why I'm the most hated person, like, in my area. I don't know why.
Okay, Gullah Geechee, and I can't figure out if it's Choctaw or Seminole. Does that make sense to you at all?
I've heard Blackfoot.
Blackfoot. What about Gullah Geechee? Gullah Geechee?
No, but I met a few Geechee. I've met a few Geechee people.
Did you ask your family this?
No, my family just tried to kill me last year, so I can't ask them anything.
Oh, goddamn. There goes the tribal wars again.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have family you can trust? Do you have family you can trust that you can talk to?
Not at all.
Okay, you got to find out what is your connection in the South, because your line is an American line. Yes, you do have direct African ancestry, but you have some spiritual genetic work right here in the Americas that needs to be healed. Does that make sense? Hold on, I gotta move.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand? You got a spiritual work. Did you do the paternal cleanse at all? Because a lot of this stuff can be reversed by that paternal cleanse.
No, ma'am. I didn't hear about a paternal cleanse.
Okay, go to Black Sunrise and do the paternal cleanse. Okay?
I've been trying to. They've been blocking me from your channel.
God damn.
I've been trying to, and every time I try to get on here, they've been blocking me from it.
God damn. Yeah, yours is a genetic war for sure. Yours is a genetic war. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, yours is a genetic war. You have right here in the Americas your line, and that line they don't like. These forces that conquered your ancestors here, because you have connections to both African here, but your African line is intact. Is this because some of you Black Americans, you do have a genetic line in the Americas like I do. Even though 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 years ago, they came to the Americas, okay? Your African line is intact, but the warfare you're going through here is right here on this soil, okay? Is there anyone you can find out something about? Is Gullah Geechee in the Carolinas?
Yes, ma'am. I had an NCO that was Geechee, and I met a girl from South Carolina that was Geechee. I might be able to talk to them. I don't know. It just seemed like everybody kind of paid off. They even tried to screw me over at the tag office earlier, so it's kind of difficult to get through to anybody because everybody seems to be in on it. Do you remember that video you made about the church people selling people or something like that?
Yeah.
That's basically what my folks did.
Yeah,
so they tried to kill me last year.
Yeah, I want to tell you this. I don't want to say too much, too loud, but the M's are behind what you're going through. And the M's, you know who the M's are? FM, Mace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My granddad was one.
Right.
My granddad was one, and my grandma was an Eastern Star, and she got mad when they tried to recruit me. She told me I couldn't do it. She renounced hers.
You know what? They are big into genetic currency transfers, but for the wrong way. Okay? They are big into genetic currency. That's why they buy and they sell people. I don't want to say who they are, but you know who I'm talking about, right? Don't say the word on the air. Right.
Oh, I would not.
All of the stuff they do has to do with genetics. And they know because they're high-level occultists. They know specific genes that are coming through because they can tap in and they can see what's coming through the womb. But what is your relationship with the Carolinas?
I'm not really sure. I know a couple of people from the Carolinas. I've been to South Carolina. And you know what? Right when I got to South Carolina, a tropical depression was coming in. Everywhere I go, they send storms.
Which means your line is your Shango. Yeah. So your genetics is Carolina. Something about the Carolinas and your genes and the Gullah Geechee, and also you said Blackfoot because there's a warring tribe. But there's a war.
Told me that.
Okay. But there is a warring tribe. Okay, there is a warring. That's okay. Just hear me out. In the Americas, you have the genetic wars, okay, where they have the Blackfoot and the Seminoles. You understand? Even though you do have African genetics in you. But when you look at Chicago and you look at California, California was named after Queen Califia, okay? Mm-hmm. There were original Black tribes in there. This is why everywhere you find masses of Black people, they always break their ancient border. They lump them together so they can fight and kill each other. You have an ancestral war, but when you look at Chicago, when you look at California was
Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me?
We have to block out some of these people who are bringing in noise.
Yes, ma'am.
When you call in,
Okay.
let me just interject. When you call in to 888-575-3769. The number is right there below me at the bottom, below Lance Scurv. 888-575-3769. We're going to have, when the callers call in, have your phone muted, and I'm going to go down the line, okay? Go ahead, sister from Columbus, Georgia. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Don't say too much, but this is what I need you to find out. Even if you have to go to the U.S. government records, the records where your marriage records, your death records, your birth records, your line is Carolina, because that's what I'm getting. The first word that came to me when I heard your voice was Gullah people.
And I know I met two girls, and like I said, I know somebody that's itchy. I can kind of understand what she's saying, but I don't know. I just know
honey, you don't even know because you never checked. You've been fighting a war and you don't understand the war you're fighting. You understand? These people trade in genetics. Genetics is the currency they use. That's why I'm bringing you this message. That's why I'm telling black people, genetic currency exchange. You got to tap in. I don't mean buy and sell other people as slaves. I don't mean use other people's genetic power to make you money. I said amongst each other, you trade with currency via genetics. You understand? Because that is the war. And that is the war that's causing blacks in Jamaica, blacks in Haiti, blacks in Trinidad, blacks in Guyana, blacks in Brazil, blacks in the Americas to fight and kill each other because they don't understand they trade in genetics. You have to find your bloodline and the code will be broken. You're from a very, very, very old people. Okay? And there's something special about your bloodline, but I can't release this. I can't release this on the air like this. Okay?
Is there some kind of way you and I could talk or email or something? Because I've been trying to get, like I said, I've been trying to look on your page and they've been blocking me from your page. Or it won't even come up, as a matter of fact. It'll be something else.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put my email in the chat box, okay? But what you got to do, my email is in the chat room. So email me. Black Sunrise, email me. But listen, you got to go to the records. Go to the government record and pull your records. There's actually a person who know how to do this. It's she was on this guy's channel. You're Not a Mean Broadcast. She did it last year. You might have to pay her. You're Not a Mean Broadcast, and she's really good at finding and putting your family tree together. Okay? What I'm getting in my spirit, honestly, let me tell you what I'm getting. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but your people who were here gave these devils a fight for their life. Kind of like the Haitians, how the Haitians whoop the French, they whoop a bunch of superpowers ass. Okay, because you're in a spiritual battle and you're trying to understand this spiritual battle. Okay, your battle goes back a long time, so I hope that helps you. Okay. What I'm saying to you is not going to make sense until you see it in front of you because you haven't put your genetic code together. And that's what I'm trying to show you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Also, can I say this?
Oh, wait. Hold on. There's someone in the chat room who said, I'll do it for free. There's someone, read in the chat room. Someone said they'll do it for free. So try to see if you can contact them. Okay?
Okay. And I wanted to say one more thing. I don't want to hold up y'all's time too much. I know more people need to talk, but for some reason, my mom has hated me since I was born, her and my dad. So I can see stuff, like I have dreams, and some of it come to pass. So I don't understand it quite fully. And another thing is, a lot of white guys are always drawn to me. I don't know why.
That's the genetics, sister. This is the genetics they're after.
This guy.
I told you.
Wow.
A white guy is not going to breed with a black woman except for genetic reasons. A black guy Black men need to be more careful when they breed outside of their race, that they breed with prime genetics. But white men, when they date black women, they date black women for genetic reasons. You get it now?
Hello. My son is pretty spry too. They're half white. They're half German, which is going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You get it? Now you're getting the genetics.
Yes,
Go to the chat room. Someone said they'll help you do it for free. And when they begin to put the family tree together, you'll see what I mean when I go back to the Carolinas and the Gullah people. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
There's more I can tell you, but I'll tell you via email, not over the line like this. Right?
Got it.
All right.
Got
cool.
it. Okay. Thank you.
All right, cool. You're welcome.
Take care. We do have a bunch of calls here, so it's growing. Just keep your phone muted or I will mute you. We don't want to bring any background noise into it. Subscribe to Rainetta Jones' YouTube channel, Black Sunrise. Sunrise is spelled with a O as opposed to a U. So it's Black Sonrise. Please subscribe to her channel now. She has extra stuff, more so than what we have on this channel, so we can shoehorn you right over there and you'll get all the goodies. I don't know if I caught this call before, but it's Compton, California, 310-995. Welcome to the show, Rainetta Jones. Do you have anything to share? Compton, California. Always check your phone to see if it's on mute, and you can open up yourself. Your line is open. If not, I'm going to go to the next caller. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Compton. Talk to Sister Rainetta Jones. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Your line is open. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Okay. We'll come back to you. The next caller, I'm going to open your line, is from Sebastian, Florida. 772-581.
Hello.
Yes, your line is open. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, brother. Lance. Since I found your station, I mean, I'm overwhelmed with the truth that I'm getting and the knowledge. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just so thankful for it. And Sister Rainetta, she's a great. She could be my great
phenomenal.
daughter to me, because I didn't have a daughter, but she could be a great daughter. I mean, everything is so beautiful. I mean, this is I don't believe in heaven that they told us about, but this is greater than that. Just hearing what's going forth to our people through your radio program, through your YouTube. It's just I love it, Brother Lance. I
can't take credit. I'm just a plate. She's the meal.
I understand.
Trust me. Yes.
I understand, but you had to be a willing vessel to do it. Like with Sister Rainetta, she had to. What happened to her? I see that it had to happen to bring us to her people.
Yes.
So we can get out of this hellhole. So we can get out of it.
That's right.
And I just love it. And I just want to say hello to Sister Netta.
Talk to her. She's right here. She's right here.
Hi.
I love you, Sister
love you.
Renetta.
Take care of yourself, sis.
And yes, and with my background, my DNA, well, I can only go back to my my parents. I don't go back any further than that. And on my mother's side, it goes into white. So we never acknowledged that, because we knew that they were against us. So we never acknowledged that part of, who we are. We always went to the African side.
Okay. A lot of black people are going to be like, when I say this, right? But I'm going to get it. I am not saying the non-black side you don't have to acknowledge, because you don't acknowledge the violation, okay? But you got to clean it.
Yes.
So it doesn't affect you, and you got to find out who they were. Like, what did they do? Where did they come from? Which country? Why? Because you got to see Remember what King Solomon said, an archetype of wisdom. He said, nothing is new under the heavens. All that was done in the past is being done now and will be done in the future. Why? Because you've got to be able to see in your, when you put your family, not just genetics, you got to map out your family tree to see. And if in your family tree there was a violation that brought in, another color into that line via slavery, for you to prevent future slavery, you got to see where the intrusion came in and clean it up.
Yes.
That's why I told people do the paternal cleanse. See what I'm saying?
I did that. I did the paternal cleanse.
How did you feel?
I felt like a weight was lifted on me. I had so much tension in my shoulders and in my neck area. And when I did that, it was like I started twisting my shoulders and my upper body. I said, oh, wow, where is it? It's gone. And so I felt great. I felt great. I felt like, actually a new person.
Tell them.
I felt like a weight. It was just a beautiful feeling when I went back, and you really, Sister Rainetta, you really went back. You just did the curses. You just broke them. You just had us there the debt. They give them the debt, and we get the assets. I mean, that was words can't explain it, but it did happen in the physical and spiritual realm.
Tell them this thing is not a joke. It's carry.
Not a joke. This is real. This is real. And this is what we wanted all the time. This is what we wanted when we came out of the womb. This is what we wanted. We didn't know how we could get rid of it or how it can happen, but it's happening now. Now is the time that it's happening. I know it's happening for me. And I appreciate it. I am so grateful. You know what? I'm very particular about little things. And if I take care of the little things, then the big things are coming. I don't leave any little thing undone. People have reminded me that I've always been that way all my life. I don't leave little things undone. I make sure things are taken care of. So I know it's working. I know it has worked. That performance that you did with going back paternal, it's the wording, just the verbiage that you give forth. I mean, that alone will have you like on your knees, not worshiping anybody, but your body like crumble. And then when you get back up, it's like a brand new person.
That's right.
And what I taught them to do was when you clean up your paternal line, I have to do the maternal cleanse, which is much deeper, but this requires, I got to be free before I do this because this is the heavier part. Because the womb is that one is going to upset a lot of stuff and clean up a lot of stuff. But what I teach people to do is when they clean up their paternal line, I said, you got to remember, from the day you do the cleanse, you are now the master of your paternal line. So if you're a man, you got to remember, you're mastering the genetics now. How you share that genetics, how you do your currency genetic transactions will determine what you're going to do and bring forth in the future. You get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
but you know what? Sister Rainetta, when I was doing it, it came into my mind because it's just my brother and myself left because my mom and dad and my sisters and other brothers, they all passed. And I was, in my mind, I said, I want to do it for my brother too. So when I was doing it for myself, did I clean it up for my brother also?
Is your brother still living?
Yes, he is. It's just him and I. My other brother and my other...
video. Give him the video. Let him do it.
Yeah, but he's too much into Christianity. I've been out of that.
Oh.
I've been out of Christianity. I moved. One thing about me, through religion, I graduated to the next one, to the next one, until I'm here where I am. And religion has no part of me as far as worshiping anything. No,
that's what happens when you transcend. When you begin to travel and you begin to really interact with the cosmos. There's no such thing as religion in all of nature. Have you ever seen animals practicing religion?
Not
Have
at
you
all.
ever seen animals practicing? No, seriously.
That's
Because
true.
we like
No,
to
I'm
think,
serious.
yeah, look at it. There is no such thing as religion in the cosmos. Whether good or evil, the cosmos do not understand the concept of religion. It doesn't exist.
No. But
Now,
you
divine
know what
law,
happened?
they
Yes.
get divine law. They understand. But religion, it doesn't exist in anywhere in nature. Not even the concept of forgiveness. It doesn't exist anywhere.
I had a disagreement with my sister-in-law because she wanted me to forgive. I said, that's not a part of me. I said, I don't forgive. I said, that's not a part of, that doesn't make me right, whether I had a disagreement with someone and I chose, and knowing that they were and I'll use this for an example, they were not balanced. They were not in order. They were no harmony, no nothing. So I wasn't going to agree with them on what they had said. And she said, you have to forgive. I said, no, I don't. That's not a part of who I am, trying to go around the world and forgive people, especially those who have done me wrong. I mean, this whole society have done us wrong. I'm going to go around and forgive them? No, I don't do that. But I want to say something about the animals. There's birds in my backyard. And when they would, whatever tone or voice they would do, I would do it back to them. And I noticed that they would come the next day and do the same chirping, and I would chirp, and they wanted me to chirp back with them. And I did it.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it all the time. I said, I talk to the birds, I talk to the waters, I talk to the air. They all call me crazy. I said, because I'm not crazy. You got to understand something. They took the planet from a circle. Get this, black people, and gave us an acute triangle to operate the planet. An acute triangle, all three sides are not the same.
Right.
This is why we are out of sync with nature. Notice that nature knows when a storm is coming and know where to go to hide. We don't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, communicate with life. Communicate. Like I was talking to a squirrel yesterday. I saw the squirrel eating foil. And I told the squirrel, I said, don't eat that foil. It's going to cut up your throat and make you sick. So he went back to eating the foil. I said, don't eat that foil. Then it finally dropped the foil on the ground and left it.
Yes, I had a rabbit in my yard. Usually when animals come around, they're like, run. He was just looking at me, and I was telling him, I said, how are you today? How's everything? I said, make sure you eat the proper greenery for your benefit. And he just sat there and looked at me. And walked and ran away and turned back and looked at me again.
Yeah.
And so, we have to be one with the Creator and and what He has created.
Yeah, exactly. It's simple.
So, do you know any tribes that I might have came from?
Which I told you. Yeah, but I told you already. I said your war is with a tribal war that was imposed upon you in the Americas. Focus on cleaning that up first before you tap into your African tribe.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it. Got to go through that white thing.
Yeah.
Got to go through the white thing.
Yeah, but not just the white thing. Not just the white thing.
I didn't want to have. Yeah, but I'm just saying I didn't want to have anything to do with that, and I realized that in order to put things in order and in balance, that has to be done.
You have to.
It has to be done.
You have to. You cannot overlook it. You have to. Okay? Right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Much love to all of you, all the listeners. Much love. Much love.
Okay, I'm going to close that line up. If you want to get through on the call, you have to dial an 888 number, 888-575-3769. Calling the cell over and over will not get you through. You'll just be wasting your time. Next call we have is from Birmingham, Alabama, 205-821. 205-821. Your line is open. Rainetta Jones is here. Do you have anything to say?
Hello.
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 Okay, I remember you from last time. Okay. All right, I know the number. Next call we're going to take is 631-255. 631-255, Riverhead, New York.
Pleasant afternoon, Black Oval family.
Good afternoon. Black Global Family, that's the term we're going to use from now on.
Pleasant. Good evening. Brother Lance, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm doing well. I'm right here with
Okay.
Rainetta Jones, and she's just putting it down. We're loving up on each other, showing love.
Yeah, I've been trying to get through to Sister Rainetta, but I'm unable to, you know? I'm from the islands, the same island you're from, Brother Lance. I'm from St. Catherine, man.
Oh, well, Mr. Skirvin, Brother Keston, Brother Kwaku, I'm still going through transition with the name.
Yeah.
They're from St. Catherine, Bella's
Okay.
Gate.
Yes. Okay, I'm from Linstead, St. Catherine. Went to Jose Marti, man, technical high school there.
Oh, wow. I need to call Mr. Skirv over here for a
Yep.
second and see if she can vibe. But you have my cell number. Give me a call, and we'll talk. We'll talk about those things directly.
There's so yeah, but I don't want to take up everybody's time, but I have to speak to Sister Rainetta.
Of course, that's what you're here for, brother. That's what I'm here for. Sister Rainetta, she's right here with us. Talk to her.
Sister Rainetta.
I'm here.
Sister.
What's up? Peace. What's up?
Peace, Sister. Peace.
Thank you.
Oh man, there's so much I gotta say. So much. Well, first let me start from about 4 months ago. I came into the knowledge of it. Just automatically happened. Like I had no idea what was happening to me. Right. So I just immediately just stopped eating meat. I went on a 7-day cleanse. Right. Detox. After the detox, no meat. I have no appetite for meat. If I try to eat it, I get sick.
Yes.
I cannot eat meat no more. I stopped smoking. I cannot smoke like that no more. Drinking, I can only drink wine. Hard liquor, I cannot have it no more. Right? And there's so much stuff that's going on in my head that I cannot decipher all these stuff that's going through my head. I'm seeing so much stuff, like it's weird. I'm seeing so much stuff, right? So the other day I don't go to the doctors no more either. So I got a minor food poisoning the other day, right? And it just came to me where I was listening to the show, because I decided that I'm not doing none of that medical stuff from the doctors anymore. So I was listening to Lance, my brother here, and a brother was on the show talking about Collodine silver, right? And that was the day that I had the food poisoning. And I'm like, I have to find something that's natural, that works for my natural body to heal it. And I went to the vitamin shop and I got the Collodine silver. But from the time I drank it, the second I drank it, the pain went, everything went. You know? So I'm just wondering what's really happening to me of my person. Like, my body has changed.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
The first thing you did, what do I tell black people to do? The first thing I tell them to do is what? Detox, right? And as soon as you did that, what's the topic of conversation today? Genetic currency. You activated your genetics. That's the second thing that happened. When you suffered that minor poisoning, it was to show you, without saying too much, that you can heal your body and correct poisoning without, putting other poisons in your body. Activated black charcoal is a good one. Colloidal silver is very good. Do not take the colloidal silver too much, okay? The third one you could take is ormus. Ormus is really, they call ormus in the Bible manna. It's white gold. It's what the pharaohs used. And this is how you tap into the cosmos. What you're experiencing, because what you're getting is downloads, and you're like, whoa. You're experiencing downloads. You're getting answers. You're seeing portals open up. You're beginning to see that the spirit realm is real, both good and evil in the spirit realm, because it's not God versus the devil. Okay? It's good versus evil.
There's one more thing, sister, I gotta say. It just comes to me that I had to order a book online, because I went to bed and I rose up the morning, and the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, you need to get the Book of Spells. I'm like, a Book of Spells? What the hell am I doing? That's voodoo stuff. I don't do that because I was grown in the church.
Got it.
So I went online and I bought one, but I went down to the section when there was numbers with letters, and I did a search up on my name for the numbers, and my name came out. They say whenever I did the count, it comes up to 11. So if I get 11 and 22, I should not touch those numbers. I should let them stay. Don't try to get it down to a single digit. So my number is 11.
Well, I'll tell you the positive and negative of 11. The positive of 11 is that the 1 controls half of the binary code that we live in today. Okay? The binary code, the binary matrix, the man, the woman, sun, moon, day, night, left, right, Democrat, Republican, Crip, blood, all these are binary. The binary code in technology is zeros and ones. The ones is half of the binary code, which is good. I always tell black people, do not touch zeros, because they strip black people of the one and put black people in a zero. So I tell black people, whenever you're messing with numbers, try to stay away from a zero, because they put black people on a zero in the binary code. This is why we're in the state that we're in. The bad side, and this is why they tell you not to what they call dissolve the numbers, bring it down to the root number, right? Is because the pillars of FM makes don't say the word, free makes you get it?
Oh, okay.
Right. The pillars that hold up this planet are the 2 1. Now, these people have corrupted the sacred knowledge of the ancient commission because they don't have the right genetic codes to interpret. That's why every interpretation of ancient Kemet and ancient Egypt, and now they're trying to bury Sudan. You know how they are. Bury the artifacts in Sudan. They corrupt it. They corrupt everything they touch because it's not the right genetic codes they're using to break it. They corrupt everything. The pillars in FM is 2 1. This is where you get the duality of the black and the white. This is why they put black versus white. When you look at their checkerboard, it's a black and white checkerboard. Ask yourself, why is it a black and white checkerboard and black and white people are always fighting each other?
Yeah.
And they put the 2 at odds. Yeah.
Sister, I don't know how to deal with all of this that's happening in my head. Like my wife told me that I used to live in my head before. Like word usage and all of that. I live in my head, and then this morning I took another teaspoon of the colorine silver, and it's just that I started seeing designs for a septic unit, and I don't know why I'm seeing that, and a lot of different piping, and there was so much.
What did I tell you? Look what was the message I gave black people the last time I was on air. What's the message I'm giving you now? I said, black people, when you detox through your intestines and through your skin, I said you're gonna activate the currency that is the cosmic currency. The currency of the cosmos is not fiat currency. It is genetic. I said to black people, go back and listen to the video. I said to black people, when you do this, all of a sudden you're going to tap into gen tech, which is genetic technology, which is spirit technology. Go listen to the video.
A little bit, because I cannot really talk to anybody about it, because I don't know what, I cannot talk to anybody about it. Only my wife. And
be calm. What you're gonna do is you're gonna write out and try to illustrate. You're gonna write out. Remember the video I said to you, black people, GBS. I said in that video, it's 2 videos ago. I think in the Queen of Sheba or the one after that. I can't remember. I said, when you begin to start operating, you're going to activate your spiritual technology. I told you about the pyramid. I said the pyramids, the reason why they corrupt everything is because they're using European genetics to interpret black genetic technology. And they're going to fail every time. And this is what you're experiencing. You have to draw out the technology that the universe is giving to you. I told you, black people, I'm not the only one who has this gift. That's just all in you. I said, activate your latent DNA. Activate your latent genetics. And this is what will start happening. This is why I'm bringing you the ancestral message today of the genetic currency transfers. Now you know I'm not crazy. You're hearing him telling you, be calm. Everything that's in your head, write it out. Listen, be calm. Everything that's in your head, write it on a piece of paper. Don't worry. You're going to start meeting like-minded people. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. But there's one more thing I got to do. Where I have to plan a trip to the motherland because that's another place that it's sending me to. I'm just doing what my mind says. I have no control over it.
Yeah. Well, that's
do
not your mind, actually. That's your spirit. That's not your mind because you activated your genetic code. And just like the monarch butterfly, when the genetic code in the monarch butterfly, when they programmed the MK Ultra super soldier to kill Nipsey Hussle, okay? Because that was an MK Ultra super soldier Nigerian candidate. I told black people, go look this up, super soldier. I said, the monarch butterfly knows genetically where its home is. And as black people begin to wake up and they begin to tap into the currency of the cosmos, which is their genetics, they're going to want to go back to the motherland. You're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. I said this like 10,000 times.
I'm doing my regular day-to-day job, and all I could think about is my mind keeps saying the same thing to me. You have to go. You have to go. You have to go. That's all I could think about.
You're not crazy. You're not crazy at all. I told black people this is going to happen. You're not crazy at all. You're not crazy at all. Not at all. From the technology that you're receiving from the cosmos, you can't let that die. You have to map that out now. Map it out and go to the Jamaican copyright office and get it copywritten. Okay? You got to do this. I told black people, I said, I'm not special. It's in you. And I broke it. The video that I broke it down with was the Nipsey Hussle video. Go back and listen to that video. I told you in that video, I said, look, I said, when you activate that latent DNA, you're going to find your lane. You're not going to be competing and jealous of Nipsey because he's shining brighter than you, or Tupac, Tupac's dead, or Jay-Z, I don't know, Jay-Z or whoever else. When you find your lane, you're going to shine in that lane. Activate your genetics. And now you're going to do your genetic currency transfer. You're not crazy at all.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Makes 100% sense.
All right, sister. I've been trying to contact you from ever since I searched. None of this happened until I did my detox, and no one told me to do a detox. I wasn't even listening to any of my real stuff here that I'm listening to. I just got up and did a detox, and after the detox, I just I couldn't eat meat no more. I cannot. If I try to eat meat, I get sick.
That's right.
Because it's not your genetic code anymore. But listen to this. What did I say to black people? How do we communicate via tech? How do we communicate today? Via technology. Black people are beginning to resonate on the genetic technology. Let me show you. Nipsey Hussle called his blueprint the marathon, right? Now, when you study what the marathon came out of Greece. And in the marathon, they ran 26 miles from city to city to deliver a message from a king to the king. And when he got to the 26-mile mark, he dropped dead. That's how the marathon came about. But black people in Africa weren't doing that when they had a message to deliver. You know what black people were doing? They said, hey, even though we're the best drummers the best runners on the planet, the black people came up with what we know today called the telephone, which is telecommunications. They created a drum. It's called the talking drum. And I would stand in this village, tack, 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 tack. It would travel to the next village. The next villager with a talking drum would pick it up and go tack, 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 tack. Send the message to the next village, tack, 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 tack. And that is how they communicate. Now that we're together, now that we're communicating here, that vibration is traveling through the ether and other GBF is picking it up without even listening to Lance Surf on his channel. That's what I told you about this. Listen. That is called spirit technology. I told you that, black people, this was coming.
Oh man. And now I bought the book. I bought the book, and now I'm going through it, knowing that I don't even know how to use the book. The only thing I took out of the book was the numbers and the letters. That's it.
Yeah, but what are numbers and letters? And this is there are other people who want to get in, and I'm going to break this to you. Numbers and letters are synonymous. Okay, they're not two separate things. Numbers and letters are synonymous. The power elite structure speak in numbers. They give us letters to speak. The elite power structure speak in what you call iconography or pictographs or images or images. And they give us narratives to understand. Okay? So that's why the first code that was broken to you out of that book was the relationship between numbers and letters. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. One more thing. I'm sorry for keeping up the rest of the Black Global family, but it's just that I have to get it out there. The next thing is, my wife, she's connected to the number 8. And I did the same numbers with her name. And when I broke it down, it came out to the number 8, which is connected to me 3 times.
That's powerful.
It's connected, and my name is what came up with my numbers of 11, which I didn't even know. I didn't even understand. I still don't understand some of all of this. Like I really cannot understand all of it, but I'm getting there.
One day at a time. Write the stuff down, because when you tap into the code, when you tap into the cosmic currency, which is the genetics, I said it. Black people, GBF, not black people, GBF, of the kingdom of the GBF, right here on earth. You're going to get downloads. You guys got to listen and keep listening to what I'm telling you so that you don't panic when stuff starts happening. I broke all of this down in the video.
It's in my dreams or my thoughts. I keep seeing myself creating glass pipe for water mains inside Africa in red dirt. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know.
Write it down. Stop panicking. Stop panicking. Stop panicking. Write it down. And then when you go, you're going to meet the right people and it's going to open up. Stop panicking. You're connected. Stop panicking. Stop panicking. Write it down. And then when you travel, you're going to meet the right people and the doors will open. Relax.
Okay. One more thing, sister. How do I get rid of radiation? Because I want to cleanse myself of radiation right now.
Yeah. You got to take an herbal bath. Do you have bush baths in Jamaica?
I'm not there. I'm in the States.
Oh, you're in the States? Okay. Email me and I'll give you, you can purchase my herbal bath. It'll pull all the radiation out.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, I'll do that. And the email is with the zeros and the 1. That's your email, right?
G.I. Jane 0001 at gmail.com. G.I. Jane 0001 at gmail.com. I just dropped it in the room.
All right.
Okay? Thank you so much, brother. Man. All right. Thank you.
I want to say, you're welcome. You're welcome. I want to say something really quickly.
Yes.
GBF family. Okay? When you tap in, okay, don't be afraid when the universe starts communicating with you. Don't panic. Don't be afraid when you start to get cosmic downloads, especially when you bypass the name of God. When you go and you tap in and you start getting downloads, don't panic or be afraid. Okay? Write it down. Okay? Write it down. Don't be afraid.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we have 805. See how this is working out beautifully, right? We got to do this all the time this way. And I have a lot of ideas. Let me just say I have a few ideas. I'm going to try to make it where those who I want to record somehow inquiries to you directly, right? I'm going to figure a way to do that, and we can put them up, and we can do a show, a live show, and then put those up. I want to really, I love the feel of what's going on here. And just, it wasn't, it looked spontaneous, but it was divinely ordered. And it's really working. I love the vibe here. I really do. I'm enjoying this. I can do this every day for hours. Anyway, 805-975, Paso Robles, California.
Yep.
Okay, your line is open.
Yo.
Speak to Sister Rainetta.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yo, can you?
We're here loud and clear.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it. You know, I love both of you. Sister Rainetta, it's a pleasure, speaking to you. As you might tell, I'm not a black person, and, I hope that, you could still forgive me for that. And, I know you're only fighting for black people now. But anyway, I just wanted to know, I don't really know my genetics whatsoever. My mother died many years ago, and I don't know who my father is. And I'm just curious if you can pick up anything from my voice or whatever from my background, or give me any advice, yeah,
all right.
Any help would be
before I go there, I can see black people going, no!
Yeah, I know.
It's all right. Yeah. Just relax. Scottish, German, Scottish, German, German, Austria. Yeah. Scottish, German, Austria.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting. Scottish, German, Austria. What? Don't stop.
Scottish, German, Austria. Interesting. Okay, I know I was maybe family from around Germany and France. That's I know. I have family from there, but Scottish, Germany, Austria. Interesting. Okay, cool. Yep.
Right.
And then okay. I don't really have too much. I don't want to get in the way of other people's questions or whatever. So I just wanted to thank you too. And just let you know there are some I do agree that there's a whole rate that when you said that all of what you said about Bill Gates, the insectoid thing, I know you're right on there. And I think that you
let me tell you what's happening to the white people. Let me tell you what's happening among them. Okay?
Sure.
Black people are not there yet. So let black people mourn, and I tell white people this all the time. I said they have to let black people mourn. Okay? They got to stop getting offended when black people begin to mourn at what happened to them. Black people should be allowed to mourn. But let me tell you what's going on with the white race. You are actually experiencing a genetic shift as well. Many of you are waking up in the white race and saying, what the hell did our ancestors do? That's causing us, because your shift, you're going into the retribution state. And there are some amongst the race, okay, because this is the divine circle that I keep telling black people about. And amongst white people, there are those who are very few right now who are like, what the hell did our ancestors do? And it's causing us Okay, there's a background.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I had to mute them because, folks, when you're calling on the 888 number, please mute your phones or cut down the background noise also. But for some reason, I'm speaking Yiddish. Anyway, I'm going to have to mute you. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, folks.
Okay, I'm asking black people just for, please trust me on this. Please try to be respectful. Please try. Okay, please try. Just for a minute. I am not saying black people should not mourn. This is our mourning phase and our rebuilding phase. But this person who's on the phone, his energy is not an enemy. Okay? I know I'm going to hear it from you, but it's okay. Now, let me tell you what's going on about what's happening in your genetic line, okay? In the white line.
Okay.
There are those in the white line, the majority of which want to continue oppressing because it allows them benefits on this planet. But there's a minute group of whites who are like, we can't continue with this because they're beginning to experience and feel the divine circle. What is the divine circle? Nothing in the cosmos is built on a pyramid. Whatever you do comes back. And they are the ones who are trying to wake up the white race and say, look, we cannot go around this planet oppressing black and brown people. We have to stop this. But the majority rules in your white race. They don't want to stop because there are benefits. Okay, there are benefits to oppressing others. But the divine circle doesn't stop. And with the divine circle of the cosmos, he who oppresses, when the cycle of life turns around, becomes oppressed. You see how it works? And what you will do, by you correcting the mistakes of your direct ancestors, it will spare you, not the whole white race, I'm talking about you.
Sure.
It will spare you when the circle completes because you choose to clean up your ancestral circle and clean up your patrilineal and matrilineal line. When the circle of life comes around, you will have saved yourself and your family members. Does that make sense?
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
This is why it gave you the courage to come in and to face someone like me who you know will tell you the truth.
Yeah. No, yeah, I knew that many people would be unhappy to hear from a white person, but I just have nothing but love and respect for you and your teachings and the whole people here and everything, and I mean, there's not much I could do about being born who I was, So
right, there's nothing wrong with you being born who you are today, but you have a responsibility to clean up spiritually what your ancestors did. You see what I'm saying?
I understand. No, yeah, I agree.
Not physically, they'll kill you physically, but you can clean up what your ancestors did spiritually, and that's what I'm
right. No, and when. No, thank you, Rainetta. Yeah, no, it made a lot of sense too when you said that racism was genetically encoded by aliens.
Absolutely.
And that just made a lot of sense to me. And I think that a lot of that's going on. That the human family is really should be like focused on rather than maybe like I know that there's so much bad karma from racial stuff in the past, but I think that was done by aliens or whatever to us, so. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for taking your yeah. All right.
You're welcome.
Yeah, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
Same here. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Lance.
Who's next, Lance?
Okay, here we go. Next we have 843-757 Bluffton, South Carolina. (843) Bluffton. Going once. Check your mute. Check to see if you have your line muted. Okay, we're going to move to the next one. Next, we have 404-953 Atlanta, Hotlanta, Georgia. Your line is open. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, Atlanta, Georgia.
Hello. Am I on?
Yes, your line is open. Welcome.
Okay. Hi. My name is Kamaya, and I'm probably the youngest person on this channel. And well, I'm 18 now. I just turned 18 on March 28th. So yeah, I'm pretty young. But I've always been really, really interested in like this kind of stuff. And just recently I found your channel. And ever since I found it, there's just been like you guys have been talking about, like downloads and stuff. And I don't know how to really explain this, but it's literally like my soul is screaming at me, telling me this is where I'm supposed to be. And I definitely believe in reincarnation. Actually, I don't want to say believe because I know, you know what I mean?
It's a
like,
knowing.
I know
Yes.
that I was before. And I'm sorry, I have like trouble getting my words out sometimes. And
Take
I
your
know
time.
that means
Take
I
your
need to
time.
work on
No problem. No
my
problem.
speaking. But I just have so many questions, and I've just been listening to Sister Rainetta, and she just takes my breath away. Like, there's some questions that I have, and then literally after I have that thought, like, she answers it right on. And it's just, the synchronicity is just there. It's crazy. And hi, Sister Rainetta, I know you're on, and I just have some questions, you know, because
Go for it.
I'm in school right now, and every time I'm in school, I just sit there just feeling like I'm wasting my time because we don't learn anything that is valuable there, really. I mean, besides math and everything, but as far as like who I am, of course, we're never going to be taught that in school. And that's just something that I've really been chasing after. I've been so hungry for truth lately. And it's almost like I've backed myself like away from everything just because I'm tired of like being oppressed by everybody, like as a Black woman. And well, I'm becoming a woman, actually. You know, I'm a young woman, but I'm just trying to get to a point where I unlearn all the lies and just really open myself up to all the truths and stuff. And I don't know where my ancestors are from. I know relatively that I had family straight from Cairo because my grandma, she would always tell us about that. But I don't know much of anything because it's hard for her to speak because recently she had a stroke. And that's also something that I really feel like, you know, we may be coming from somewhere because there's a lot of things going on in my family. Like people are just getting taken out like left and right. And it's really scary, but I just feel like it's for a reason. And I was just going to ask, like I've heard other people ask you if you, from the way that they're speaking or from their voice, if you would know anything about their roots and where we came from. And I'm so desperate to know. Like, I have to know.
All right, relax. Go watch the video on Emperor Sheba because that's your line. If your grandmother tells you Egypt, that's your direct line. Okay? Yeah. You gotta check your line. Your line is if she's telling you Cairo, that's Egypt. You gotta go look that up, okay? But are you light skinned? Are you light skinned?
No, I'm not. I'm
brown skin. But are you a lighter shade of brown? Okay, that's okay. Are you a lighter shade of brown? Okay, give me a.
Yeah.
Okay, you got this. Yes. Are you like caramel? It's a point I'm making. And I'm not putting light over. Okay, I'm not putting light over dark. Okay, I'm not putting light over dark, not to divide people, but there's something that I'm seeing here. Let me ask you a question. The reason why I asked is because as you began to speak, for some reason, I picked up the Spanish language, and I think it's either Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. I don't know why I picked these two, like the Caribbean, the northern side of the Caribbean. Have you studied your background, your ancestry at all?
No, actually, my brother, he just did something on Ancestry. He had a free trial for like 7 days or something.
Okay.
And he saw that there was like a mix too. And I just heard somebody speaking about how they also had like white or something there.
Yeah.
And I noticed that a lot of family, my last name, I don't know if I can say it on here, but my last name is really big. It's really big in Virginia. And there was inherited land over there.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of inherited land.
Virginia,
and my grandma was telling
the Virginians and the Caribbean are literally blood brothers. Literally.
Wow.
Literally. So when your brother did he find any DNA whatsoever in the Caribbean, or did they say anything about Americas? Because they just lumped the Americas together.
I'm not sure. I don't think he got that far. But my other cousins were on that too, and it automatically like linked us together. But the trial wore off, and I'm trying to get him to do it again so that we can really find out, because that's something that we have never known. Like, our family is really disconnected right now because I guess the way the world is now, and we're just at a point where I feel like it is so necessary. Like, it's almost like you have to know who you are, you know? Like, this
is why it's so hard for me, because when I'm telling Black people that the lines that I'm picking up, because there's no test done and they haven't done the test, it comes off like I don't know what I'm seeing. So until you get these lines done, you have a direct line in the northern part of the Caribbean. If it's a Hispaniola, which is Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, some line there that's important to you. Okay? And you're another one who's going through these genetic wars. This is why I keep telling Black people, a lot of your targeting is genetic wars. Okay? It's genetic wars. So you have to put your family tree together as best as you can. If you can't find family members who can tell you your family tree, you got to go to the records, the government records, and pull the marriage, birth, and death certificate so you can put your trees back together. And where that breaks off, then you got to do genetics. You could do private companies. You could do African ancestry. Oh, and if that doesn't work, you've got to do a 23andMe. Look, I know a lot of Black people are saying, look, they keep genetic. I said, they pinprick you in the hospital. They already got your damn genetics.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can't be afraid of getting genetics done because they've already stolen it. Already. If you were born and you passed anywhere through a hospital or had a needle stuck in you, they got your genetics. So it's done. Or you ever did a urine test or any other thing, or any sort of, So they have these things. So your issue is you've got to put your family tree together. You can go through the marriage records, death records, birth records. That's one way. I'm talking about a literal family tree now. Okay? Then you got to do the genetic aspects where you find a way tribes. If they're telling you East Africa, you are probably from that line of the Empress Sheba directly, which is Egypt and Sudan. What we call Egypt and Sudan today, which is East Africa. Guys, you got to realize 90% of the slaves were from East Africa that migrated, or they pulled them out towards the western border. Okay, so this goes back to the whole stop fighting for tribes when you're of the same kingdom. Okay, regarding your school, I do not mean you not having a thirst and a desire for school, because what they're teaching you is not connected. When you activate via detoxing and the codes begin to download, you're going to be seeing the genetic codes break while you're studying, and studying won't be as boring to you. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of this stuff, a lot of the reason why it seems like, it appears like Black people are not interested in education, bullshit. It's because the genetics have been cut off and Black people have not activated the latent DNA. It's the latent DNA activation that I keep telling Black people, activate, and everything, the whole matrix comes alive to you. I hope that helps.
It does. And I also wanted to mention, because I was talking to one of my cousins that was also linked with me on the family tree. We're pretty close. We haven't talked in a while, but we're really close. But he was also saying that his dad, which is my mom's cousin, his mom or something like that, or his dad or their grandparents were from the Ivory Coast. And so I don't know if that would help with anything, but I'm just trying to put all the pieces together because I really want to know.
Yeah, one step at a time. Not just the genetics.
I'm sorry?
One step at a time. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, one step at a time. Not just your genetic code together. Okay? Not just your genetic code together. You want to put your family tree. It's the tree of life. That is your tree of life. You know, they tell you, oh, the tree of life was in a Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was a womb. Okay?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay? That tree of life, biting of that fruit. You know what biting of that fruit is? Right? Right. Which is the knowledge of good and evil. What came out of the womb is your tree of life. Your tree of life is your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-great-grandparents. That is your tree of life. You need to see that tree in front of you. You need to know who you descended from, both good and bad, so that you know what your evil nature is. So you can shield yourself from your evil nature. It's called epigenetics. That's what they use to manipulate black people today. And then you know the good people in your tree of life, so you know what your strengths are. You see what I'm saying? That's your tree of life. Does that make sense?
It does. And so I also wanted to ask, so I see a lot of people saying things about connecting to your ancestors. And I'm not really like 100% familiar with it. I just heard it and I've been interested in that. How do I do that? And like, what does that really mean? Like, just like my family tree and everything?
Yes. Woo. Your great-grandparents are your ancestors. And knowing the life they lived, knowing their likes and what they didn't like, knowing what their strengths and their weaknesses, this is how you connect. It's as simple as that. It's not put and focus on a humna. No. That's why I keep telling black people, your tree of life first, then your genetics. You see?
Yeah.
And this is why it was so hard to destroy black people's tree of life, and then gave them a Bible and said, this is your tree of life. It was in some garden in the middle of nowhere, all the way in Iraq. No, your tree of life is your mother, your father, your grandparents, your great-grand. That is your tree of life.
That's why I probably feel like a little confused, because that's all I've known. Like all my life, that's all I've known is Christianity and everything. But there's just been something that I just knew was not 100% there. Like I even had an experience in the church one time. My mom took me to one of her friends' churches, and I saw people falling. You know, they were saying these words or whatever. And one of the pastors, he picked me out. And he just, you know, said some words over me. And I was just looking at people and I was really wondering what's going on. And still to this day, my mom doesn't believe me. Whatever I say, I just follow what everybody else was doing because I was a kid. And I didn't understand what was going on. But now that I'm starting to learn more, everything, like just all the pieces are coming together. And I'm just starting to realize that nothing is what we've been told. And that's why I'm just on a real search for this, because it's everything.
Start with the tree of life.
Yes, ma'am.
Start with the tree of life. It's really simple. They make it seem like, oh, you know, you have to cast this spell and poof, and no. Put your tree of life together. What is life? It came from your father impregnating your mother, or your great-great-great-grandfather impregnating your great-great-great-grandmother, and your grandparents being born. That is your tree of life. Right there. It's very simple when you think about it. They make this thing so complicated. No, it's very simple. And you have to have that tree in front of you. It's as simple as that. Okay. All right. So, did that help?
It did. I also wanted to ask one more thing about this paternal cleanse. Where do I find that? Like, how do I look into that?
Black
I definitely
Sunrise.
want to do that.
On my channel, Black Sunrise. Yep.
Okay.
And just follow the instructions. Make sure you're alone, you're quiet, you have quiet time. Follow the instructions and do it. Just repeat after everything I do. That's a template. You can clean up your mother's line. You can clean up just follow the template. You'll see the difference. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who was on here. Everybody. Like, you guys have literally changed my life, and this is just the beginning.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. We're going to move on over to, I think Rainetta fell off. Let me just add her back in. Hold on. Good. You fell off, Rainetta. Yeah, I got you back.
Okay, good.
I got you back on. Okay, anybody calling to call into the show, you're going to have to call the 888 number right there below me. 888-575-3769. Calling on the cell phone like you're trying to do right now will not get you through. You just make little pretty sounding beeps for me. All right. We have Greensboro, North Carolina, 336. Greensboro, North Carolina, 336. Your line is open.
Yes, hello?
How are you?
Yes, hello?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Hi, Lance.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. Good. Yeah, I was calling in today. I just recently, kind of got into, looking into Black spirituality, things like that. I grew up.
Sister Rainetta, for just a second, if you could just mute your phone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. When you mute your phone and when you talk, just open it up. Okay? All right, go ahead, sister, from Greensboro.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if Sister Rainetta, if you could see anything on me. I was,
Sister, this is not the place for me to go there. Not the place for me to go there. These kind of personal things like that to go in has to be private. This is a public, remember, it's a whole. This is not the place for me to go in. It has to be private. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right? Because we got to protect people. We got to respect people. We got to respect the codes that I see. Because if I go there and I see whatever and I start talking, this is not for any and everyone to hear. This is private stuff. Right?
Okay. All right. Okay. I know you were talking to the one sister about the Carolinas. So, I was born in, born overseas. Right. I was born overseas. My mom was she chose to cut my biological father off. And that used to be something that bothered me a lot. And I would try to track him down. And the last time I ever spoke to him was when I was 9 years old.
Did she tell you? Did she tell you why she cut him off?
She said that he basically became controlling. And tried to tell her what she could wear.
I see. Okay. And this is Caribbean, right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Caribbean.
Me? No, I'm from...
Is it African?
I'm from the...
No, you were born overseas.
I was Germany. I was born in Germany.
Oh, Europe. Oh, okay. I didn't see that one coming.
I was born in... Yeah.
Wait, was he in, hold on. Was he in the military, your dad?
Yes.
Okay. And he was stationed in Germany. Okay, that's what okay. All right. Yeah. That explains the controlling and the, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
And he was stationed, he was American stationed in Germany?
Yes.
Okay. And this was, judging from your voice, this is the 70s?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
1968.
Yeah.
Feel free to cut me off if I'm going in the wrong direction. But my question is, since kind of, waking up a little bit, knowing my background, born on a military base, I myself joined the Navy for 4 years.
Yeah.
And, with my family history, I sometimes wonder if the government has had its eye on my family.
I was gonna go there, right? Let me tell you a secret about how American governments choose Black people in the military. If you don't come from a warrior class, you're not getting in the U.S. military via genetics. The other way they use the African warrior classes in gangs, sorry. Okay? These are the two classes where they put black people. These are black people. They use the African warrior genes to fight their wars in the military, or they use them to fight other black people, as in gangs in their community. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. Do you get it?
I do.
Yeah.
And even my grandfather was in the military. So I don't know. And when you were talking to the brother about fasting and your latent genetics being woken, back in 2011, I did some deep cleansing, and I cut out meat, and I felt all this stuff come up, and I still feel it now, but I feel like it's, I feel like it's incomplete, like there's still something blocking me.
Yeah, because your genetic lines are broken. Remember, you're searching for the genetic code, so you got to do a paternal cleanse. Go do your go to my channel and go do the paternal cleanse. The reason why you're experiencing blockages is because you're not in tune with your genetics yet. You see what I'm saying? You have unanswered questions. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science, And it's interesting because yours is military, for sure. Black people have to understand that the black people they allow into the military, you have to have the genetics to go into the U.S. military. They don't just trust me. They know if you are from a tribe in Africa that was a warrior class, and that is the only way you can get into the U.S. military. They do the same for whites. I'm telling you. You don't think it's genetic. You think, it's because they passed the test. That is not how these people operate. Genetics is their currency. Okay. Yeah.
Do you think do you think there's any link between the way that they choose military personnel and all the increase in vet suicides here recently?
Say that again?
Do you think there's any link in the way that they choose, people from warrior classes to go into the military and the increase in veteran suicides lately? My grandfather fought in World War II.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's a super soldier program. Remember, not anyone can enter military. You have to have the genetics to withstand combat. Okay? This is super soldier program. Okay? I don't want to say too much because this line belongs to who. But this is super soldier programming. And this is why in the military they pump you guys filled with all sorts of stuff and you don't know what they're pumping you with. Okay? Don't speak, just let me speak, right? Don't speak. So you have to have a certain genetic structure to be in the military. Otherwise, you will literally crash and burn on that field. Now, when the programming breaks down, because what the United States, they do not do, okay? The ancient Africans did this, but America, they don't do this. When they came back from war, they never allowed the warriors to go back home. They deprogrammed them first, right? Then reprogram them so that they can assimilate in a non-hostile, non-combatant environment. That's the reason why you have high suicide rates in the United States. Because what they do is when they come back from combat, they send them home. This is not the correct way to do it. They need to be isolated first. They need to be deprogrammed from the battlefield first. They need to be spiritually cleansed, mind, body, and spirit first. They need to be reprogrammed for a non-combative environment first and acclimated back into civilian society. They literally have army vets walking around with PTSD because they're still spiritually attached to the battlefield. Does that make sense? That's
Yes,
what they're
that makes perfect
experiencing.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So this is why they need to
Yes.
be isolated first. Not because there's something wrong with them, but they need to isolate. America doesn't do that. And sometimes America don't even let them take a break and purge themselves. They throw them back on 2, 3, 4, 10 tours, and they come back broken and they jump off a building. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
It's all spiritual.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Sister Anita, I would like to follow up with you through email.
Go for it. But all the spiritual
so
work, all of you, when you email me, put in the subject spiritual. I will get to you after April. Okay? After April. Okay, I just took today because in my spirit I said, you know what? I need to share and I need to help some people. Does that help?
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to open up the line of Brother Ross, and I'm going to take another call also. I just want to have him on here with us. Brother Ross, your line is open.
Hey, good afternoon, Sister Rainetta. This is your other Trini brethren.
Hey, what's up, Trini?
Hey, I'm good. It's great to hear you today. Man, your programs have really, really changed my life in quite a few profound ways. So I would like to just send my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to you. One question I wanted to ask, because I've done my genetic testing and ancestry DNA. So I found that my mother's lineage comes from the Pele people. These are people from Liberia, the rice-growing region of Liberia, who migrated there from Sudan. My father's side I found was from Gabon. And when I traced the Trinidad slave import records, I found that only 4 people came from Gabon to Trinidad. And one of those 4 happens to be my paternal great-grandfather, going back to, I think it's the maybe 17 or 1800s when they were brought from there. And they were from the Teke people. And these were a warrior set of people that were with the Congo, part of the Congo conglomerate. And then on my mother's father's side, we understand that my grandfather, his mother was Carib. His father was from Ethiopia. And my grandmother on my father's side, she was Garifuna. She was originally from Dominica. So she was Ghanaian and Carib. And they brought, well, her parents, her mother brought her to Trinidad when she was 6 years old. So this is how I've been able to determine my ancestry based on what my family's told me and genetics, and then doing some research on the slave records. There's many people from the Caribbean who also don't know where they come from, and they may not have those that sort of family insight and maybe know what steps to take to facilitate finding out. So I just wanted to ask you if you can give any suggestions about that for people from the islands who may have trouble finding their lineage. And then if you have any insight, if there's anything that you are tuning into spiritually that you wish to bestow upon me, I will happily take that from you and incorporate it into my life as I move forward.
Sure. The first thing I want to say is that the Caribbean genetics is really complicated, okay? Just like, equally as complicated as the Black American experience. This is why we seem like we can't understand each other. Caribbean genetics is very complicated. However, I need GBF to understand it. When you go, your government have the records. I'm going to keep saying this. Your government have the records all the way back to slavery, where it cuts off from the government. The problem is that slavery occurred under the British, who were the last to come in, the Dutch, the Spanish, French, Portuguese. And then you have like Germany and a few other countries, okay? And then the Arabs, oh my God, that is a difficult one because I'm not even sure if they kept the records of those. That's worse. Anyway, let's stick to the Atlantic Ocean, right? Your government have the records. I'm going to keep saying this. Your government have the records. Where the records break off, you can trace those records back to the British, for the English ones, slave archives that's online. Now, those of you who have the Spanish ancestry, you're going to have to go through, especially if you're black, you're speaking English and you have a Spanish last name, you got to go through the Spanish record. Okay? Those of you who speak Portuguese or you have a Portuguese last name, that means your records are in the Portuguese slave record. Those of you who speak French and Dutch, that is where your records are in the French records, in the Dutch records. But for the British, it's on the British Slave Archives online, and that can tell you, those archives tell you where they bought them, unfortunately, how much they bought them for, who they bought them for, and where they sold them. And that can tell you directly where your ancestors came from. It's the link, it's the missing link. For those who are English, those who are Spanish, you got to find it in the Spanish, Dutch, French, all their archives, their slave archives, which they all have and they all kept. Okay? So that is where you can begin to put that family tree together. Okay? But it starts in your government, marriage records, birth records, death records. If you're missing that link, the slave records exist. They kept them in Spanish, French, English. I don't want to repeat myself. That's where you can find them. If you can't find them there, then it has to be genetic. And that is how you do it. Hello?
Beautiful. Yes.
Does that help?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to maybe help some other folks who might be listening who are from the Caribbean and may not have an idea of where to start making those moves to find out their ancestry.
Okay, a lot of people are saying that the records office were burned, okay? The historical records were burned. Okay, that is where you get the slave archive. Then you're going to have to go through ancestry DNA. Okay, you're going to have to go through DNA. If the actual marriage, death, and these records were burned, then you're going to have to go to the slave archive via DNA. It's the only way, but you have to have your family tree. The European family tree is unbroken. The Chinese, look, let me show you why we're dominated. The Chinese ancestry family tree is unbroken. The Indian in India, their family ancestry tree is unbroken. The Europeans, their family ancestry tree is unbroken. The Arabs, their family, we're the only ones whose ancestral tree is broken, and that's why they're able to dominate us. You see what I'm saying? Our tree of life is broken, and we have to fight to put this tree back. We have to, right?
Absolutely. Yes. I appreciate that. I was going to ask if there was anything that, any spiritual messages that you were tuning into for me that you would like to pass along. To the person who gets readings and things like that. So to me, you're just a vessel for the deities and the ancestors.
You said Teke. You said Teke, right? Teke in Congo, right? Remember you said that?
Yes.
Where do you think the word technology comes from?
Wow. Very interesting.
What are you into?
I practice the Kemetic spiritual tradition. I've been practicing.
And you're good at, and you are good, don't see. You're good at doing what? With your hands and your brain and your mind. You like to create stuff.
Yeah.
You see why your ancestry is important? You see why it's not a coincidence that you're doing what you're doing today? You're good at creating things. From your mind to your hand. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
Okay.
It's very interesting. I used to make music when I was young. I was a producer and a rapper. This is back in the late 80s to mid to late 90s. And I got a tattoo on my right hand, and it's the tattoo of a seven with the sun around it.
Sister Rainetta, just mute your phone for a second until you're ready to talk. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Ross.
And because I'm a writer, I wrote with my right hand. So I put that tattoo there when I was had to have been about maybe 20. And it's directly related to me using my hands to create. So it's very, very interesting that you said that. And it just kind of blew my mind for a second there. Wow.
Now you see why I say why when I spoke to the other ladies and they're like, Gullah, Geechee, what? What? And they couldn't get it. I said, the tree of life. I said, their tree of life, they don't know their tree of life, so they don't understand why they're going through what they're going through and why is it they have an affinity. The tree of life is not some garden in Iraq. You have a tree of life. Everyone in this chat room has a tree of life. This is why I tell black people, do not say your ancestry is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Thank you.
And they hate me for it. I said, don't do that because you're literally cutting off your real tree of life to take someone else's tree of life, and you wonder why you go through hell.
If you're not a actual Hebrew or Beta Israel, then you really shouldn't be tracing your lineage back to that. Those people are the original Hebrew people.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That is their tree of life. That is their ancestry. You have to find your tree of life, which will put you into your lane, which will align you to your cosmos, and which will give birth to what you... I'm not surprised. The moment you said Teki, I said, Teki, wow, he's into tech.
Wow. And you know, it's really interesting because when you trace back the Hebrew origins, it goes back to Akhenaten. And you have lineages way more ancient than the Hebrew lineage. It goes back to about, 4,000, 6,000 BC? 6,000 BC, the Jewish tradition as we know it.
6,000 years old.
You cut yourself off. The Yoruba people are tens of thousands of years older than that.
And the
Igbo,
Akan in Ghana, the Akan in Ghana is children of Akhenaten.
Okay.
Or say Tutu and the Tutus and the people who they call Hutsis, or Hutus, they call them Hutus and Tutsis. It's wrong. It's not a Hut. It's a Tut. They say Hutus. No, it's Tutus and Tutsis. They come through who? Tutankhamun.
That's correct. Matter of fact, Ramses was a Tutsi.
Exactly.
Ramses the Great was a Tutsi. Yes. There's many tribes that made up the Nile Valley. Absolutely, you're correct. There's a bunch of them. You got the Wolof, the Yoruba, the Khan, the Dogon,
all of them.
Zulu.
All of them. All of
name.
them come
Absolutely.
back to the kingdom mother. This is why I tell black people, they made sure to hide from you the fact that you have one mother and one father, so you fight and kill each other. Go ahead.
Yes. And it's interesting you said that because when you talked about West Africans migrating from the Nile, when you go back to read The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, ancient Ethiopia encompassed the entire Africa pretty much. And that was because their people had gone to all of these places. So when you look at the ancient Ethiopian empire, it's nothing like what we know Ethiopia to be today. It was a lot more vast and grand.
Ancient
and when
Ethiopia.
You go back to the origin of,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, when you go back to the Atlantic Ocean, it used to be called the Ethiopian Ocean. And that was because white people saw Africans going from America to West Africa for at least over 1,000 years. They were landlocked at that time.
And that's where you got, brother, I need to tell you this. That's where you find the pyramids in the Grand Canyon. And that's why, go look at my video on my Rijo channel about the pyramids and the sphinxes found in Trinidad and Scotland Bay.
Yes.
Did you see that video?
Yes, I saw it. Yes, I did.
You see?
Yes,
funny,
it's powerful. Very powerful stuff. And it's you know a writer by the name of Paul Barton?
No.
He wrote a book called Susu Economics, and he writes about the African origins of American people. And he was one of the first people who talked about his family being of the royal Nile Valley lineage that settled in the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
So when the Queen of Sheba III came back, I said, oh, okay, so these are all the same people. Some of them just stayed in different islands, and we have one back home in Trinidad. So, and a lot of people don't know that there are populations of East Africans that were brought here. They're just not very large. And then, like you were saying, a lot of people don't know that the origin of a lot of the West African tribes was the Nile Valley before they moved to where they are presently. So all of these things makes a continental connection that ties into what I discussed on my first show with Brother Lance, dealing with the origin of Pan-Africanism and how ancient it is, and the fact that it started in Africa before it was resurrected in the Western Hemisphere. So it's powerful stuff you're bringing. And I wanted to say thank you. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I look forward to talking to you again. And thank you so much for your wisdom and your persistence and your love of your people. It is so laudable, and I hold you in the highest regard, sisters. Please stay in touch, and I look forward to talking to you again. Peace and love to you, and peace and love to you, Brother Lance. Thank you so much.
Brother Ross. Brother
You
Ross.
are very much welcome. Thank you. And I want to say something really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep telling black people this until the GBF this until we get it. Okay? If anyone is bringing to you a tribe, they are lost. If they're saying, you're Ham and I'm Shem and I'm a Hebrew Israelite, they're lost. And I say they're lost because a tribe is not higher than a kingdom. A tribe is not higher than a nation. When your oppressors fight, they fight using kingdom principles of domination and control. Meanwhile, you're fighting over, I'm a Crip and I'm a Blood, and two tribes fighting over each other. I'm a House and you're an Igbo, two tribes fighting over each other. Black people, GBS, shift from tribal warfare and fight for collective kingdom.
Amazing. Would you like the next call? I'm gonna leave your line open, Brother Ross, just in case. But I'm gonna go to 337-375, DeRidla, Louisiana. 337-375, DeRidla, Louisiana. Okay.
Lance, before you bring them on, I need to say something.
Sure.
I need to give a little bit of a history lesson. I have someone saying, that's a lie, the Bible is not our book. I said, oh, really? I said, do you know that there were 25 Christs before Jesus showed up? Let me ask you a question. Who wrote the book of Job? Did Job in the Bible write his own book? Who wrote the book of Job? Since the Bible is your book, who wrote the book of Job? Since the Bible is the book of all black people, who wrote the book of Job? Was it Job who wrote that book? No, it was Moses. Let me ask you something. Methuselah, who lived to be 800 years old, did he have a book called the Bible with which he walked with God? Did Enoch write the book of Enoch? I'm asking you this. Oh, the Bible is our book. Did Enoch write that book? No, that book was written long after Enoch was gone. So what book did Methuselah follow when he walked with his God? What book did Enoch follow when he walked with his God? Did the Bible exist when Abram was alive? Oh, but that book is our book. Did the Bible exist when Abram was alive? Who wrote the book of Genesis? It was Moses who wrote the book of Genesis, which means Abraham had no book. So let me ask you something. Did the book come before the God, or the God came before the book? But you bind yourself and you bind your genetics to a book, and you wonder why everybody else is rising except us.
Can I say something to what you're speaking about? There's a text by Dr. Berry called The Chronology of the Bible, and he was Beta Israel from Ethiopia before he was initiated into the Kemetic tradition many years ago. And when he gives the chronology of when the book was written off of the original Kemetic text, the first 5 books of the Bible were not written until 500 years after Moses was already dead. That is a historical reality. That book did not exist until 500 years after Moses was dead. So how could he write a book?
They tell us in the West.
500 years before it existed.
But they tell us in the West that the Bible, The first 5 books, the Pentateuch, was written by who?
Moses.
Okay? Moses. Some even say Moses was Akhenaten, Tutmosis. Okay? Or Tutmosis. But the point is, let me show you something. Where do you think Psalm 23 came from? Oh, it came out of... Tell them where it came from. Tell them where it came from.
Akhenaten. It was from his prayer to the Aten. It was copied almost verbatim, word for word. And another book they stole from was the Wisdom of Amenhotep. Those were some of the proverbs directly from that.
Preach to them.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you something. Did Akhenaten rule in Jerusalem?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Preach to them and tell them about this book and the lies they believe in.
Yeah, his father was who they know as Solomon, Amenhotep III. And if you follow Amenhotep III's history, you'll find that his history almost identically mirrors that of Solomon.
They stole.
And one of the main reasons that they have beef with Akhenaten having the throne and that was because Kemet had to marry an Ethiopian
Mute yourself,
wife.
Rainetta, when you're not talking. Sorry.
In order to have access to the throne legally, you had to marry an African Ethiopian wife. When Akhenaten married Nefertiti, she was of mixed blood, so there was a problem with that. She was African and she had Asian blood. And when Akhenaten first left, when he was chased out of Egypt, he went to Ethiopia first before he ended up going to the Middle East. And this is all history most people don't come in contact with. There's a great book called The Bible Myth, The African Origin of Jewish People, by Dr. Gary Greenberg. There's another one called The Africans Who Wrote the Bible by Dr. Manny Banshi Darkwa.
Please tell them. Please summarize your comments. Summarize what the Bible is.
Yes, the Bible is nothing but a stolen, inverted compilation of our history with white people's history superimposed on top of it. So when you read about Adam and all of these people, they're talking about the creation of white people. They're not talking about African people. Because even Dr. Ben talked about this. The Bible only goes back to 6,000 BC. So they're telling you the world was created in 6,000 BC the way that we know it, and we know that none of that's true. The oldest human beings go back millions of years on the African continent.
Do you know why they say the earth was
stolen?
Thank you. Finally. Do you know why they say the earth in the Bible is 6,000 years old? Let me tell you why. Yahweh showed up 6,000 years ago.
You are correct. Dr. Ben found that Yahweh was found in the Temple of Honor, if I remember correctly. He talks about it in his book, We the Black Jews, Witness to the White Jewish Race Myth, and the fact that Yahweh was a minor deity, and he was associated with who was known as Set Hyphen. So the deity who was the deity of opposition, also called the devil, also called Satan, was actually Yahweh.
Yahweh! Somebody did their homework. Somebody
So
did
when
their
you're
homework.
worshiping Yahweh, you're worshiping
Lucifer.
the devil. Exactly. A lot of people don't understand that. And when you start to read these texts, read Ahmed Asman's work, read Mustafa Gadala's work, it'll just expand your consciousness because it takes the actual history and shows you where the Bible history came from. All of the patriarchs of the Bible, their histories are stolen from Kemetic kings. And in that book, the Bible Myth, The African Origin of Jewish People.
Tell them who Solomon is. Tell them who Solomon is and who Solomon was in West Africa. Tell them who Solomon is. Tell them.
Yes, well, Solomon, as far as I know, was Amenhotep III. Amenhotep III was the grandfather of King Tut. King Tut was Jesus of the Bible. Moses was Akhenaten of the Bible, also called Osarti. They had a couple of weird names for these people, but ultimately the entire tradition was stolen Semitic theology that was inverted and represented to black people. And we accepted it because it was similar to what we already knew. We already had those systems in place for so many thousands of years, it wasn't hard for us to accept it, but it was also accepted under the duress of terrorism.
Absolutely.
So these are all we have to understand. Go ahead.
The richest man on the planet was Mansa Musa. That is where you get the concept of Solomon being the richest man on the planet. Guys, the Bible is a hoax. This is why black people have been praying for 400 years and laughed. And not only is it a hoax, It is a book of twisted occultic spells.
Yes. Yes,
I don't
it
know,
is. There's so
you
many
know,
spells. It's crazy.
it's totally twisted and corrupted because the genetic code has been broken and twisted. I'm going to keep telling you that Yahweh is Lucifer until you begin to do your homework and stop thinking I'm trying to be a heretic and you go research it. Yahweh was a lesser God. He was not the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
And the
Yahweh was
book that
not.
you were talking about with the saviors is Percy Gray's, the world's 16 crucified saviors. And it gives you the history of all of the known so-called dead and resurrected spirits, the oldest of which is called Osiris or Asar. That is the oldest known man god in history, known to have died and been resurrected from the dead. And all the other ones, Zoroaster, Jesus, Mithrain, all of these deities were prototypes created off of the original Osiris of Kemet.
Yes.
Absolutely. And his history goes back to over 50,000 BC.
Hello. So if he was here and his history was 50,000 BC, think about it, use your common sense. That means there would have had to have been people 50,000 years ago worshiping him, right? How could you abandon this for a 6,000-year-old God?
And Adam, his name was stolen from the Semitic deity Atum.
Yes.
In Kemet, the letter T in Kemet becomes a D in Hebrew. So Adam is actually Atum, which is where the word atom comes from. Atom as in ATOM, formerly the smallest known unit of measurement in science.
The atom. This is what I did a video on.
Atom is a part of everyone because we all are made up of atoms. So that's where you get nanoparticles and control of the small universe. That's what white people are trying to do now. Go ahead.
And this is why I told you God is not on two legs. Remember I said that to you? What gives life to the atom? The electrical circuit board in your body known as your nerves. The atom operates with electrical energy and it speaks in a chemical language. God is not a man on two legs. God is energy.
Yes, I've always said this because you're absolutely right. In Kemet, they have a story that they talk about in the Rainetta by Raoul Ferryman. It's the Rainetta Volume 1. And the ancestors compared the creator to an ocean of consciousness. And they said that if you take a drop out of the ocean, it doesn't change the fact that it's still water. It has the same constitution, the same abilities, the same makeup as the ocean, but on a smaller scale. So each human was compared to a drop out of the ocean of the creator's consciousness. So we have the same omnipotence and omnipresence and all of those abilities as the deity, but on a much smaller scale, because the creator is too powerful to put into one living entity. So, and
I have people in the chat. I have people in the chat room. Yeah, there's some in the chat room who wants to hold on to Yahweh. And people want to hold on to the Shem High controversy that was created by a white European to divide black people so they can fight each other. Saying, oh, prove any of this. He just gave you books. If you would study the Rainetta, okay, which I have not studied it extensively, but if you would even glance at it, you would see everything the Bible claims came out of Israel, came out of Egypt. And if you would study the Sumerian text, you will see the other half of the Bible came out of Sumeria. Your book is stolen. Not only that, King James raped young boys. This is what he did. You could go check the royal archives about King James. King James was a homosexual pedophile who used to rape young boys. This is who gave you your King James version. Not only that, he studied demonology. And he claimed it was because he was fighting witches and he needed to know how to fight them. But if the Bible is so powerful, you wouldn't need to become a demonologist. You've been screwed with. And the reason why a lot of black people love Hebrew Israelites is because it gives them an identity. I have no problem with that. But it makes them feel as if they're better than other black Africans. And that is where you're wrong. You're wrong.
That's because
you're
the white
playing into
supremacist
the,
concept.
yes, because the person who created the Shemites, the ideology of Shem versus Ham was a Caucasian. I'm not going to get into this discussion, but I also have someone in the chat. I have someone in the chat saying, oh, prove it. If you would just pick up a book outside of the Bible, you could read about the Bible. But not only that, you think I didn't create the iPod and the Kindle? I don't care what you think. I could show you 46 other inventions I came up with. Okay? I came up with 2 internet systems. 2, not 1. 2 completely different internet systems. 2 different satellite systems. I could go into what I came up with. But for just, not you, brother, I just got to tell off someone in the chat room.
No
Okay?
problem.
You can go back and look at my interviews online. Okay? A banking system. Okay? An investment system. Okay? Using the same African strategy. An investment system out of that. My latest invention is to overhaul the traffic light. Okay? So I don't care if you want to hold on to Yahweh and Yahweh and Yahweh and Yahweh and Yahweh. Show me one invention in the Bible. One. Give me one invention that came out of the Bible. There is none. But I can show you in Egypt the tons of inventions that came out of Egypt. Why would I abandon my ancestors who left me walls and paintings of inventions to go follow a God who was God but couldn't invent not one thing in the Bible? Show me one invention in the Bible. Yahweh is God.
Something, Sister
One second, let me finish cursing out.
Sure.
Yahweh is God.
Absolutely.
And his people are the greatest. Where are your inventions? Show me one remedy to cure anything in the Bible. Oh, well, you know, the prophet, Yahweh told the prophet, made a poultice of herbs and rub it on Hezekiah. But what was the poultice of herbs? I can see you the African sacred system. They had a whole sacred system of herbs to heal. Show me one invention in the Bible. There is none. Show me one healing remedy in the Bible. There is none. Your own fake Jesus, who never existed, went into Egypt before he stood before the so-called doctors in the Sanhedrin. That's where he got the system to learn how to heal. Egypt, black people, and you abandoned that to chase a sky fairy? No wonder why we're lost. Go ahead, brother.
Wow, let me just say really quick that I'm going to ask the both of you, whatever books that you referenced, just give me a list so I could drop it down later on. Not right now, but just try to remember what the books were that you referenced so I could share it. It's not going to be up now, people. It'll be up a little later on in the description area below, and we'll make a nice little list there. Okay, so just continue on. This is wonderful. And
Okay.
let me just say, as we speak, let me just open up a line or two, every now and then. So if anybody wants to add anything in, if that's possible, because we're flowing good. I'll let the chat room decide, or you decide. But this is good knowledge here. There are people who are going to go to their grave disputing it, but it is what it is,
Absolutely. And what I wanted to add was, well, go ahead. You have something else to say?
Well, I just wanted to add a caller in to see if they had anything, because I had a few people that were waiting to have a whole lot. But just to keep a little flavor going.
I just wanted to say something quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
One thing that I learned is from a brother by the name of Brother Robert X out of Chicago, and he does a radio show on Blog Talk, and he's a brilliant elder. And he said something about the Bible that I'd never heard before, but it was so profound, it shifted the entire listenership at the time he said it, and it shifted my DNA instantly. He said, if you have a child that you put through college, and they're going to school for their doctorate, and they tell you, Mom, Dad, they ask you, your parents ask you, what were you studying? What books did you use to study? And they tell you, oh, for the entire 12 years I was in school, we used one book. Would you call that an education? Or would you call that a brainwashing? So if you can't take even one subject, let's take psychology, for example, you will never be studying the same one psychology book your entire career in school. So why is it that you give your concept of the deity to one book? And that's why I call all Western religions, they're people of the book. They're trapped in the four corners of that book, and they can't think out of that context for any reason. And it's not a disrespectful thing. It's just that when you study the origins of how we've acquired these particular ways of life, they were given to us by people that never had our best interests. So the same way if your child came home and said their entire career from elementary school all the way through to college degree, they studied one book, you would laugh in their face if they call that an education. Why would you do the same thing by minimizing your deity? And Dr. Ben said something else that was very powerful. No people on earth continues to worship the deity of their oppressor and can really seriously expect liberation. This is the same deity that the people who dominated you prayed to dominate you. But you're going to the same deity that they prayed to and used to dominate you, and you're expecting liberation. And what is the meaning of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you're going to be any of those three religions, at least study the history of those religions. It'll make you better at the religion you practice. And understand that religion's relationship to your people historically and contemporaneously, and it'll be able to put you in a position to make more sensible decisions, even if you continue to follow that tradition. We can't be mad at those people who practice those traditions, because those were the traditions that kept us alive during the times that we were not allowed to practice our traditions. But we're in a day and age where we can practice whatever we want, and now we consciously choose to enslave ourselves to things that were given to us under the duress of genocide and terrorism. So think about where you are putting your time and energy. That is the currency of today's day and age. You have the attention economy. You have the energy that you give out every day you go to work on the plantation that you give to whoever owns that plantation. And then you have the time that you provide. And time is a dimension in and of itself. A lot of people don't know that, but it is its own dimension. So that is really what you want to do, because by the time you come to any understanding of what your real truth is, if you ever come to that understanding, some of us are not meant to get to that understanding in this lifetime. They'll have to do it in another, or maybe a subsequent 10, depending on what you learn in each one. But the idea is that as you understand what you practice, you can make it an instrument of your liberation. Dr. John Henrik Clarke used to say, let your religion be an instrument of your liberation, and if it is not, you need to throw it into the ash cans of history. And that is a fact. What did Nat Turner do? He turned Christianity into an instrument of his liberation. And he showed his enemies, and he showed his people, and had his people having his back. This is what you do to liberate yourself from this kind of tyranny. And he didn't ask any questions, and it was Jesus he was worshiping when he was cutting those babies and those adults' heads off. So understand, if you're going to practice those religions, let those religions drive you towards a liberation philosophy and theosophy and theology. If not, throw it into the ash cans of history with the rest of what we've gotten from white supremacy. And with that, you can bring in the other caller, brother.
Okay, I want to summarize something. So the response to my speech, thank you, brother. The response to my speech is, oh, she's just angry. You know why you're going to call me angry? You're going to overlook the fact that the ancestors gave me genetic downloads that had nothing to do with Christianity, because I had left Christianity. Nothing to do with Christianity. They're going to overlook that fact, overlook all the inventions that they have given me. And I give them respect for giving me these inventions that are in the ether that I'm telling you is there for you. And you're going to miss all of that and say, she's angry. Well, of course I'm angry. They've been denied for 400 years. Our image has been cursed for 400 years. There are tens of thousands of inventions in the United States by Black people. I have the list, a short list, who were overlooked and denied. Overlooked and denied. Even today, practically everything we see on this planet, a black hand has something to do with it. And you just want to deny all of this. Guys, when the Chinese, when they got rid of the British, the Chinese went back to honoring their ancestors. The Indians, when they got rid of the British, the Indians in India went back to honoring their ancestors. India just launched a rocket and shot down a rocket from space. We're not even fighting this battle from space yet in Africa. The Europeans worship their ancestors and tell us about their grace every single day. And yet when I tell you about the greatness that is in you, that is outside of Genesis to Revelation, all you can tell me is, you're angry. You're angry. Because you want to hold on to a 6,000-year-old God when your genetics is at minimum millions of years old. I can't deal with people like you. And as the brother so eloquently said, who can get a thorough education from reading one book? I'll leave it as that. You want to begin the journey to grow and to begin. If you don't wake up and tap into your tree of life and tap into your genetic currency, you see the genetic wars that are going on, Bill Gates releasing mosquitoes to try to exterminate the African continent? That's a genetic war. You see the vaccine where they're giving black boys autism at a rate of 1 to 4? When it was 1 to 10,000 just 20 years ago, that's a genetic war. You see the race, the space race where India just shot down a rocket? They're showing Indian supremacy. Meanwhile, you're fighting over a book. You're fighting for a book. And these people are fighting not only just to control this planet, but to control the cosmos. And you're fighting over a book. And when someone comes to tell you, get your head out of that book and look up and look out and activate your genetics and activate out and currency do transactions with your genetics. You want to bring people back to a book. That's your business. For black people, I'm going to tell you this. I haven't lied to you since, and I won't lie to you in the future. I'm going to tell you this. You follow that book, you're going to follow yourself over a cliff. But you follow your tree of life, your genetics, and you tap into that. And you begin to do your genetic currency transfer. You're going to see your life change. What did the first caller say when he came in here? He said, I can't believe it. This is my whole life changed. That is a testimony. I'll leave it as that.
Let me also say, Brother Ross, share out your contact information, your show, everything to get in contact with you. Also, I want you to put that down when you give me the list of the books that you reference. But right now, just share that. And if Rainetta, if you're not saying anything, just mute the phone for a second. And yeah, no problem. And I'm not being funny. Lance, I'm not being funny, sister. Lance, you know, we love you. Yeah.
Lance, no, it's okay. That's okay. Give me I'm gonna hang up, but I'm gonna call you back in 5 minutes so the conversation can go on. Okay. Okay. Also, it's probably not gonna go on much longer because I need a charge on this phone and it's going down. So we'll talk another 10, 15 minutes and then we'll wrap it down. But still, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. Brother Ross, I want you to give your contact information out, whichever way you can.
Sure. It's my email address is raskelile@comcast.net. Again, that's raskelile@comcast.net. My radio show that I do with my partner Jennifer Kepra is Real Life Radio, and it's on Foundational Radio via Black Talk Radio Network. And we just actually changed the number, so I'm trying to pull the number up right now. Here we go. The number is 719-284-5271, and the code is 70637. Again, the number is 719-284-5271, and the code is 70637. And we come on every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's the normal time we come on. And we're located on Black Talk Radio Network. Lance is now too. It's great to have you with us, my brother. I can't wait to see the big things that you bring along, and we're going to just expand, spreading this knowledge and information. And just to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about, the main thing to remember is we cannot continue to practice ideological tribalism and expect success. I don't have a problem with who you choose to worship. Our ancestors were not people who are ever known for going around the world and killing and terrorizing people and making them worship their deities. When you look at Kemet, everybody who invaded Kemet wanted to be Egyptian. The Romans did not really change Kemetic society. They assimilated it. It was one of the only places where invaders tried to become like the people they invaded rather than completely forcing them to assimilate to the culture of the invader. So that is the power of the spiritual practice of our people and the way that we used to do things. You can read a book called Negroes and Other Essays by Umalimu Baruti. In that book, he really gives a great treatise on the history of our people, and he has discussions, historical discussions from European as well as Arab historians who describe us as the most beautiful, physically beautiful, the most pious, the most spiritual, the most just, the most righteous, the kindest. These were the words that they used to describe us. And in my opinion, that was our downfall. If we were more xenophobic towards those people when they came, we would not have gotten conquered. If we took a page from the people of the island of the Sentinelese people, we would not be in the position that we are today. But because we're Earth people, and everywhere you go where there's Earth people are kind, giving people, because that is human nature. That is the natural way that we function when we're in an optimal environment that's conducive to our mental, spiritual, and emotional health. And they flipped the world upside down and turned us against ourselves so that we do these types of things to each other, and we latch onto a text and say, if anybody doesn't believe in this text, then screw you. And it just keeps going. We can find a million ways to divide ourselves. But if we can start to unite around problem solving, not around what religion you practice, not around anything you do in your personal life, as long as what you're doing doesn't affect me, my rights end where yours begin, and your rights end where mine begin. As long as anything you do does not impinge on my personal life and my sanctity and my sovereignty as a living entity of the Creator, and as long as mine also does not do the same to you, there's no reason for us not to be able to coalesce around solving problems. Even if we vehemently disagree with each other, we can vehemently disagree after we solve the problem. Why is it that Jews can do that? Why is it that Germans can do that? Why is it that white people can do that? They can put their beef aside whenever a non-white person comes around, and most importantly, when a black person comes around, they will drop their beef instantly and handle you. But with black people, it's, let me see if I can get the white person on my side so that I could be more powerful than the other nigga over there. That's what we do when white people come around. Mm-hmm. Master, take my side, master, so I can get this nigga out off my back. Rather than getting together with that brother and say, let's get rid of this white boy first, and then we can continue our argument after he's out the way. That's codification. That's what I was talking about last night. It was a brilliant discussion. I can't wait. We got to do it again. But ultimately, it's codification. When Sister Rainetta was talking about the monarch butterfly, I'm going to tell you something about them. They're a very special species. They travel to 3 different continents, or 3 different areas of the American continent in their travels. They travel from Mexico through the United States and into Canada. And in the winter time, they overwinter in Mexico, and they summer in America and Canada. Now, when monarch butterflies start their migration, the original butterflies that leave Mexico that are going to Canada don't make it there. They die long before they get there because they have a short lifespan. So what happens is they'll stop off in Mexico. They give birth to the new generation. That new generation is born the following spring, and they start the migration. They get a third of the way along, and they usually die off and give birth to the next group. So the information on where they are wintering and where they're summering is in their genetics. It's their code. It is a genetic code where they're programmed to automatically know that we summer in North America and Canada and we winter in Mexico. So no matter where along the journey that those particular butterflies are, once they're born, they automatically know what to do and where to go. When I talked on my show, I talked about the show we did that we lost most of. I talked about epigenetics and the fact that after black people have been terrorized for so many hundreds of years, that we have been epigenetically changed to be subservient to white people. And white people have been epigenetically changed to be dominant over non-white people. I'm going to give you a nature example of how epigenetics works and how you can tell just looking at all the homosexuality and the straight, excuse my French, fuck shit that we get into in this society. In Africa, you have African elephants. They've been poached for hundreds and hundreds of years by Europeans, the trophy, not for food, not in self-defense. They kill them because white people kill living things for fun, especially if those living things are non-white. The only things that they preserve are white things, albino creatures. So after all of this killing, what they found a few years ago was that elephants are automatically being born without tusks. And it started off as a strange anomaly at first, but then they started to notice that it became epidemic. That whole areas of Africa had newborn elephants that were not born with tusks and never grew tusks. And what they found was after being killed and slaughtered and almost going extinct on many occasions for their tusks, they have epigenetically responded by no longer growing tusks. That is the intelligence of the creator in those beings. They know that, hey, we're being slaughtered for our tusks, nothing but our tusks. They don't eat us. They don't use us for anything constructive. They just kill us, steal our tusks, and leave the rest of the carcass in the bush. So their genetics have responded now by no longer allowing them to grow tusks. When you have been through buck breaking and you watch the strongest black male gang raped by 10 white men anally, and you were that man's child, and you were put front and center along with your mother and whatever other siblings to watch your father be demanded publicly in front of hundreds of people on one of the islands in the Caribbean, and you go through all that we've been through from those times till now, then you understand the epigenetic shift towards the effeminization and homosexualization genetically of black boys, where they're 5 years old and they want to be a girl, and Charlize Theron puts her 4-year-old in a dress, and Dwayne Wade's 11-year-old child now thinks he's a female. Because an emasculated male is a conquered male. So white people are much less apt to physically harm or kill a homosexual black male. Neely Fuller talked about in the 60s that on jobs that he worked, no male, masculine black males were ever promoted. They only promoted homosexual males to supervisor positions. That is something I experienced where when I worked in today's day and age, I see the same thing.
Yep.
That is because those people are already compromised. They're letting you know, I'm conquered by the system. I understand that you don't want real black men surviving in this world. So as a result, I have remade myself into my psychological variation of what I think a black female acts like. Because when you see a homosexual male, they're not female. Nothing about them is female. They're effeminate, meaning that even if it's a black male, they take what they think a black woman's life is like and they emulate it in the way that they dress, act, talk, their mannerisms, body language, everything. But they'll never be authentically female. And that is what you call gender dysmorphia. That means you look in the mirror and you have a penis, but you see a vagina even though there's a penis slapping you in the face every time you walk. Or you got to tie up your testicles around your back so that it looks like a vagina from the front. So that is gender dysmorphia. That is when you look in the mirror and you see something that's not there. It's no different than anorexia. Like I said, you could be 81 pounds soaking wet, 25 years old, bony as hell, and when you look in the mirror, you see a 330-pound whale. Is that normal or natural? But that's what they're legalizing in this country. When you talk about transgender and all of these things, they're legalizing mental illness and giving rights to mentally ill people. If your child woke up one day and said they wanted to be a helicopter, are you going to get them diesel fuel and say, hey, I'm going to respect your right to want to be a helicopter? So we're going to have trans helicopter people? It sounds stupid, but that's where we're going.
That's what Fu Manchu said.
You know,
if you're not gay or a dyke, they're unplugging your mic.
Yeah, you got transgenders in the UFC breaking girls' skulls because they're putting these transgenders to fight actual females. And males and females are physically different. Our bone structures are different. Our hands are bigger, thicker. We're much more powerful. We have quicker, fast twitch muscles. So when you pound a woman in her head, you're just racking her brain with every hit. Yeah. And you got this transgender who's been living their life for 30 years as a man, who takes a few hormones and swears to God he got hips and breasts, and all of a sudden he's magically female. That sounds insane, but that's what we're seeing. And then your children go to school and they learn about all kinds of deviant sex in elementary school because they're trying to normalize anti-sexual behavior. Do I have a problem with homosexuals? Not at all. What you do in the bedroom does not tickle my fancy. As long as you don't impinge on my sovereignty and my rights, we have no problem.
No
when
problem.
you do that, or if you attempt to, because you ain't gonna do it to me. But if you attempt to, then you'll have a problem that you don't really want. I'll show you better than I can tell you.
But see, they want you to grin and bear it. They want you to grin and bear it. They want to be able to come around you and do whatever they want. They want to be able to come around you and sit down on your head or touch you on your backside, and you're supposed to sit there and take it. And if you don't proclaim that, oh no, I'm for it, I'm promoting it. If you say just that, that you're not bothering them now. You're not saying anything bad. You say, listen, this is not I don't believe in that. Oh man, you got a problem. And they're gonna go to the slave master on these jobs, and you're gonna get treated bad or fired.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, they don't realize that you already let them know you compromise. I'm not helping the black race create more warriors to fight you because I'm with the same sex every night, so I am not a problem for you.
No threat.
I'm completely neutralized.
That's right.
On a genetic level. You have nothing to fear from me.
I'm not going to create
the black man's gun.
Right. I'm not going to create any more men that look like me. I'm going to aim my penis in an orifice that will not bring me no life, because there's no life up in no man's backside. So I'm going to aim it somewhere else. I'm no threat. I just want this check. I want this little lifestyle that you're giving me as far as this money. Promote me, and I will report to you like the Sambo-esque entity that I am. You're right. They're compromised. And when you are a real man, they understand it. They know they punked out. That's why they call them punks down here in the South. They know they punked out.
Oh, yeah.
That they're compromised and they're no threat. So you take your little punked out self and live your illusion, and you can take your little hormones, the ones that do. We have a lot of masculine looking ones that you would never know. You compromise too. You know you're doing wrong. When they see a real man, they see a measure that they can't measure up to.
What they'll never be.
Exactly. So they automatically have an attitude with you because you're showing them how far off the mark that they are. You see what I mean?
Yeah, because even lesbians, they're showing you what their interpretation of masculinity is. And it's a false form of masculinity.
Right.
Black men's gun is in their crotch. Your clip is your testicles. Your bullets are your sperm. And your penis is the barrel. That's why they call the gun the great equalizer. Our great equalizer gives life. It gives life to black children.
Right.
So you can sleep with any woman of any race and the child's going to be black.
They don't want to hear that.
White guns are to take life and to equalize on a physical plane what whites cannot accomplish on the genetic plane, which is black genetic annihilation. So understand that everything is political, including who you make babies with. Every decision is political. And remember, politics is nothing but warfare with suits and ties. It's warfare with suits and ties. When you watch games, any game in the United States, it's all genetic warfare on full display. That's why people get so hype about it. That's exactly why they're so involved. They get intense with it. When you watch football, you'll see that Y-shaped metal object at the end of the field. And somebody called the punter will punt the ball through that Y shape. That is a symbolic reputation of black genetic material through the testicles of football being impregnating a white female, which is that white Y-shaped symbol at the end of the end zone. When you play baseball, you have a phallic symbol, a bat. You have little white balls, a baseball. And when the hitter either misses the ball or if he hits it and it's caught, you have white genetic material going into a black symbolic female vagina in the form of the catcher's mitt. When you play golf, you have a phallic symbol, a golf club. You hit a white ball, and they're all little because white genetics are mutant genetics, so they're little. They're minor in the scheme of things. And you knock that white ball into a black hole into the earth. So you're impregnating a black female symbolically, the Mother Earth, every time that white ball goes into that hole. So let's go to pool. You have the white testicle, the cue ball. You have the phallic symbol, the pool stick. And you are knocking off the genetic material of every other race because there are all of those colored balls, which are representative of the different ethnic groups around the world. And what do you do to win the game? You knock off black genetics, the 8-ball. So everything you're watching is reenacted sexual activity between whites and blacks on some level or another. And it's warfare. It's warfare. Games are simulated warfare. But we're not taught to see things in a codified manner like that. We're just taught to enjoy it. Basketball, same thing. Big black testicles going into a white net, a white female's vagina. And then what do basketball players do? Some of them, they go find themselves a real white net at night. Or like Kobe Bryant, get caught up on rape charges because it's easy to set up black people who have been acculturated to worship white females. And that's why I spell the word female when I reference white women as F-E-E-M-A-L-E. Because every time you mess with them, you're going to pay a fee. Some of us pay with our lives. Other ones pay with prison enslavement. Other ones pay with just the ruining of their reputation because they're falsely accused. But you're going to pay a fee of some sort dealing with the white female. Are you willing to pay that fee? We have enough history that tells us that, hey, you might end up hanging from a tree. Right now, because they're still lynching us to this very day. And it seems like since they've made lynching a federal crime, more black people are being found lynched after that than before. So we have to really get off the ideological tribalism, the arguing with each other over senselessness. You can be from wherever you choose to be from, but if you're not on my side when it comes to liberation, then I want nothing to do with you.
That's right.
I don't care what you call yourself. I respect that. Self-identification is one of the most important things you can do. And I don't ever want to control somebody else's ability to self-identify. But as you start to study history, if you study authentic history, and it's not confirmation bias, then you find that some of the things you may have thought about your history is not correct, or you might actually find that it is correct, depending on what you're able to trace and find out. But a lot of us talk without really taking the time to do it. And if you take the time to do it, it'll be a lot more interesting than you ever could imagine. But we have to center around problem solving, not arguing over petty stuff, because it's not going to help us get anywhere. And for the first time, we see a global move of black people going in a direction of liberation all over the place. Everybody's not on it. The majority of them will not be on it. But what we need is a critical mass. And once they see others making those moves and making headway, then more people will join in the move.
Right.
But if we sit here arguing about BS and being mad because somebody practices a religion we don't like, or somebody self-identifies with a group of people that we may not like or we may think isn't authentic, or the relationship isn't authentic in some way, and we allow that to separate us, come on, man, let's get liberation first. And if I don't like what you're into, you could go do what you want where you at, and I'll leave you alone. And the same thing, vice versa, the other way around. We don't have to all get along. We just have to respect each other.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest problem that we.
But it seems like they don't want that. They don't even want to show respect. You know.
Say it again, brother.
They won't even show respect. They can't even muster that, or even
whole
feign it. Just like even act like you're getting it. You know.
Yeah.
Hold on one second, brother. Hold on 1 second. We got Brother Kwaku on the show line, the open line, Brother Ross. Brother Kwaku.
Brother Kwaku.
I don't want to throw you in there like that, but you called in.
Brother, peace.
Yes, talk to me.
Peace and love. How you doing?
I'm good, my brother. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm good. It's good to have you on the line, too. What did you wish to add to the conversation? I'm waiting for your wisdom today, brother.
Well, I don't know what the conversation is all about at this point, my brother.
I saw it and just threw him right on in there. And he was calling me personally, but I just threw him on in there. But Brother Ross, what I want you to do is, my charge on my phone is going down. I got to boost it back up a little bit, and just wrap it down for the next minute or two. Brother Kwaku, I'm going to call you from the other line right now. And just wrap it down right now, Brother Ross, until I come back. It'll be like maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but just continue on. I'm going to lock it in so we don't have the crazy people calling in.
Locked.
And I'm just glad you're here. Brother Kwaku, I'm going to call you back in about 90 seconds. But go ahead, Ross.
Okay, no problem. Peace and love, good brother. It's good to hear from you too.
Same here, my brother. Peace and power.
All right. Peace and love to you. Guidance and protection. So I know a lot of folks are interested in text, and I have quite a big library. And there's a lot of books you can read on a myriad of subjects, all depending on what it is you're interested in. So if you're looking to find out more information about the origins of Christianity, and I would say even Judaism to a degree, but Christianity most, I would say you want to read Christianity Before Christ by John Jackson, The Bible Myth, The African Origin of Jewish People. I mentioned that before, by Dr. Gary Greenberg. The Africans Who Wrote the Bible by Dr. Nani Banchi Dorquois. The Historical Origin of Christianity by Walter Williams. Gerald Massey, Historical Jesus, Mythical Christ by Gerald Massey. Also, you can read Anacalypsis, which is a 2-volume set. The Book of Beginnings, also a 2-volume set by Gerald Massey as well. There's just quite a few texts. We the Black Jews, Witness to the White Jewish Race Myth by Dr. Beng. Africa, Mother of Western Civilization, as well as African Origin of the Major Western Religions, both by Dr. Beng. A Chronology of the Bible by Dr. Beng is also a great text. There's so many of them, but these are great starting points. You can also go to Mustafa Gadala's text, Historical Deception, The Untold Story of Ancient Egypt, his other book, Tutankhamun, The Living Image of the Lord. Also, Ahmed Asman has a whole slew of works dealing with the origins of biblical figures in Kemet, and he was one of the early proponents after Floyd of the fact that Akhenaten was Moses. So a lot of his text goes about historically and biblically clarifying which of the patriarchs are which and which Kemetic kings they relate to. So that his books are very, very key if you're trying to study that information and that history. It's really good. Matter of fact, Dr. York has a really great book that's super well researched called Jesus Found in Egypt. It might be very hard to find now that he's locked away, but if you can get your hands on Jesus Found in Egypt, it's going to really help you understand the origins of Judaism and Christianity. It's one of the most well-researched and powerful texts you'll ever see in regards to the research that he put into the work and how much he reveals in that particular text. And that one's called Jesus Found in Egypt, and he spells Egypt E-G-I-P-T, not with the Y, but with the letter I instead. If you're interested in learning more about Kemetic culture, Egyptian yoga, things like that, then Muwatta Aspi's texts are really, really great. He has a slew of volumes on that in the history of religion in Africa, whether it's the Hindu religion, where Africans from Ethiopia carried the worship of the cow over to India. That's where they got it from. That was the worship of Het Heru, which is the cow-headed deity of the Nile Valley, one of the oldest female deities in Africa and in the Nile Valley region itself. Also, you have this series of books by Rottman Neferi Men, the Metunetta, volumes 1 all the way through volume 7. And then there's a bunch of spin-off texts, some dealing with Qigong and Eastern philosophy and the I Ching and using that as an oracle. Also, the Metunetta itself, volume 1, is a foundational text in using the Metunetta oracle. So there are a set of oracle cards that go along with the text, and it gives you a blueprint on how to use those cards in your personal spiritual practice in order to help yourself navigate the real world using spiritual means and tapping into communing with the ancestors and the deities, also known as Neteru. You can learn the things you need to learn in order to make the right decisions as far as if you have a major decision to make in your life regarding something that you need to do or accomplish. You can consult the oracle and get the answer. Now, remember, in the Bible, they also had an oracular system. That oracular system was called casting lots. The difference between their system and, let's say, the tarot cards or the Kemetic system or the Ifa system or the I Ching system is that their oracle was strictly a yes or no oracle. So you can only ask it yes or no questions and it'll give you a yes or no answer. The other oracle systems will give you intimate details about your life and in some cases information only you and the creator know. That's how deep it can tap into your Akashic records as they are known to some in genetic history. So there's a lot of those things you can use to facilitate growing and expanding in your consciousness, your understanding of who you are and where you are meant to be and where you are meant to go. And the thing about it is never be afraid to explore your traditions. You might be practicing a Western religion, but you can learn a lot about the deity itself and life itself from your people's traditions. So worship whoever you wish to, but don't be averted to actually learning new things. Remember that the word occult just means hidden or secret. And secret and sacred are very closely related words because they're interrelated in a way. When you look at it, all things that are sacred are usually held to secrecy. And that's in all traditions. There's bishops and stuff who knows a lot more than what the Catholic masses know, and they will never reveal those things because they're not supposed to. And I think in the Bible they call it casting pearls to swine. You don't give the priceless for the worthless. You just don't. So these are the types of things that you'll start to get into if you're trying to just grow and expand your understanding of many things, not just, one tradition or one way of doing things. There's more ways than one of doing things. And we just have to be able to be respectful of each other and honor each other as Black people, as a global Black family. It doesn't matter what you practice. It doesn't matter where you come from. It just matters what your mindset is and are you really about solving problems. Neely Fuller said it, if you can be proud about being an American African or proud about being from the islands or proud of whatever, but none of that is worth anything if you ain't about justice. Whoever's not about justice has no business breathing, which is what he says, and I agree emphatically. Why the hell are you here if you're about oppressing, abusing, and mistreating other people, especially those who look like you? You have no purpose in life. And trust me, for people who do that, your ancestors have a way of getting rid of you for the rest of the world when you act out in that way, especially Black people. I've personally seen Black people who started off on positive trajectories end up caught up in street life, and then they end up dying prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, that's the ancestors trying to prevent you from completely annihilating your legacy.
Quick question, brother.
Some of us come here and complete. Go ahead.
No, there's a question here, and you can continue on. This is from Annette Nelson. Sure. She said, Lance, please ask Ross if there is a book he can recommend for my 13-year-old grandson that he can start reading.
Sure. Was there a subject that he's interested in, or anything in particular that she might want him to learn about? Because I can probably give some good suggestions. I would say for someone young, J.A. Rogers has tons of really, really incredibly researched texts with very little known information about our people. One is called From Superman to Man. Matter of fact, I'm going to walk over to my bookshelf and I'll read some of his titles off to you. From Superman to Man is one. Where's the other one? Come on. I'm almost blind, so I got to pull some of these books off the shelf here. Sex and Race is another one. From Superman to Man, Nature Knows No Color Lines. 13, another good text would be, it's by a good friend of mine called The Nightmare and the Dream, Nas, Jay-Z, and the History of Conflict in African American Culture. The writer is named Dax, D-A-X, Devlin, D-E-V-L-O-N, and his last name is Ross. And it's one of the best books that traces the history of our conflict with each other in this country, between the so-called talented tenth or the lighter-skinned blacks, the brown paper bag test passers, versus the dark-skinned Black people of the Western Hemisphere. It's one of the most well-researched books. It starts off with Marcus Garvey and his conflict with W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, and Frederick Douglass, and it just basically takes this dichotomous look at both sides of the issue and how it played itself out until it reached the hip-hop generation. And he goes all the way through Tupac and Big, all the way up to the conflict between Nas and Jay-Z, and how all of their conflicts tie into the ancient, which is not really ancient, but the early history of our people's struggle for liberation, going back to Marcus Garvey, and how that informs the way we behave and treat each other today. That's a great one, I would say, to really dig into. If he wants to learn more about maybe some of these artists and the historical context of how their lives played out in reference to this actual history. Another good book would be probably Assata Shakur's autobiography, the autobiography of Assata Shakur, by, of course, Assata Shakur. That's a great one. I'm looking at my bookshelf, just trying to, there's a great one for young folks, too. Another one is called Black Spark, White Fire. I think it's a great beginning text for Black people by a man named Richard Poe. And it's Black Spark, White Fire, with the foreword by Dr. Molesti Kete Asante, and it's entitled Did African Explorers Civilize Ancient Europe? And it's a pretty well-researched text that'll be a good foundational text for a young child to get into if they're starting their studies. Another one will be Nile Valley Civilizations by Anthony Browder. That's a pretty well-written text, and it's not written, I think, over the heads of a young person or even an adult who might be interested in learning some of this history itself. That's really good. And another one of his texts that was specifically written for the youth is called From the Browder Files, and it's a really well-written text as well. If he's interested in that sort of information, let me see what else. I'm just kind of running through some of these books on my shelf here while I'm.
You got a whole lot up there.
Yeah, I have a lot. I started collecting books since probably I was in my early teens. My dad gave me the ISIS papers to read when I was about 16. So, and I read it many times. I always tell people, if you have a Bible in your house, you should have a copy of the ISIS papers in your house. If you have a Bible in your house, you should have a copy of Urugu in your house. You should have a copy of Mary Fuller's work. The most important thing you can learn about is the system that we live in and how to successfully navigate it, so you can teach your children how to successfully navigate it. So those texts really teach you about the psychopathology of white people and the damage it has done to us psychologically and the idiosyncratic behaviors we've developed as a response to the system of tyranny and abuse that we've been through. So I think those texts are must-have texts. Absolutely.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like sometimes they're coming down. I'll say some things in the back. Greetings to Namibia. Charlie, how are you? And LeVar wanted to ask, he said, if I can ask if there's a book, if there's a book for your brother from Jamaica. I spoke to his sister. Okay, yeah. He wants to know if you have any books about Jamaica or tying Jamaica. I guess I'm assuming tying Jamaican history in and so forth, so forth. Gloria, thanks a lot. But you know what I'm gonna do? This is what I'm gonna do. Let's make a section. Let's make a section in the Melanin Envy, right? Where we list all the books and we can give reviews on each book. And that will sit up there, a section, a books. What would we call that? I'll make that section right now.
I guess like a book list.
A book list.
Like a book list. Because, yeah, because I had one when I had my own website many years ago. I had a long book list that I used to just add to as the years progressed. And once the site has been defunct, which it has been for a little while, I think I still have the file. It might be like a PDF or a Word file, but I haven't added to it in a long time. But I definitely have added to my library. I have a very big library of books, and just depending on the subject, I think that people will be vastly interested.
I'm going to add that in
on that.
Yeah, I'm going to add it as a new forum. Idea. I'm going to add it as a new forum on Melanin Envy, which you can also get to Melanin Envy by going to a globalblackfamily.org. It's the same site. You can access it whichever way you want to do it. I'll put it in the graphics, but in the forum manager, I'm going to make that right now. Don't go there right now. It'll be up in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a.
I gotta get on there too.
Yeah, and
another great book. I think everybody should get, especially if you're Christian. You gotta have this book because it's gonna help you with the origins of the mind control that your religion facilitates, and that this was planned, this was orchestrated, and this was supposed to be this way. It's called How to Make a Negro a Christian by Kamar Makesi Tahuti, and he gives the history of the indoctrination process of Black people in the Western Hemisphere into Christianity. And basically it's a blueprint that white people use to facilitate mind control via the use of religion.
Right.
So it is a well-documented text. So if you're really interested in the origin of your religion and what it was meant to do to you, then that is the book you want to get your hands on. That's if you're really into following like the truth and just
Right.
digging into some stuff here to help you.
Let me just tell you, I just created it.
Here.
I just created it on Melanin Envy.
Okay, cool.
It's called the Global Black
okay.
Family Book List. There's nothing there, y'all.
Cool.
For those who are already members, you can
Okay,
go in there and put your books in. And also, when you put the books in, just don't put the title. Give a little paragraph or more, you know, about the book. Why should we get the book? What it meant to you, as much as you want. Okay, so you know that way the conversation can go on 24/7, and continue on, and we can see the books. And this is important too, because when we walk into a bookstore like a Barnes and Noble, do you think that in their little black section they're going to have these books that we really need to see? Especially when they get spiteful, when they see that there's certain books that strip away their lives. So they don't. The first thing they want to do is take somebody's books down. You know, when they don't like them.
They barely sell black books. Yeah, they don't really even sell black books. They hide them from you. They'll put them, even in Barnes and Noble, they'll put them in an out of the way, obscure corner where you have to actually scavenger hunt to find the text. Like it's real serious. Yes,
and Amazon is just slowly but surely, covertly. And I was just saying, not to get off the subject. Well, But even when you do Google searches, you don't see us as much anymore, unless it's something derogatory.
Well, you know what they're doing? This just started in the last few months, but Amazon has been striking books that they deem to have what they deem pseudo information. One of the most recent books that came out in an article that they removed from Amazon was the historical relationship between blacks and Jews by the Nation of Islam.
Right.
It's one of the most well-researched, documented texts in history, dealing with the history of the Jews being the foundation and epicenter of the transatlantic slave trade.
Yep.
And there were 3 volumes to that work. And I got all 3, thankfully, before they decided to do that. But that's the thing. They're removing black books. And I keep telling people, before they put the Jews through the concentration camps, the first thing they did was destroy their literature. Mm-hmm. After they destroyed their literature, they took their guns. Once they took their guns, you can't defend yourself. They can kick in your door, grab you and your family, and put you into a concentration camp. Mm-hmm. So black people are going in the same direction in this country. We're just too busy arguing about BS to actually see it and do something about it collectively before it's too late.
That's right.
So this is why we have these discussions, and hopefully it'll really infuse a conscientiousness around time being of the essence. Another great book is by a brother named H. Khalif Khalifa called The Acquisition and Proper Use of Power. This brother is a direct blood descendant of Nat Turner. He is a black book publisher. Like, he makes books. He's a master publisher. And he is just an incredible, very, very dedicated, African-centered black male who is about his people. But his name is H. Khalif Khalifa. And he spells his name, Khalif is Khalif, Khalifa is Khalifah. And first initial is H. And in one of his texts, he gives his history as far as his direct connection to Nat Turner, but that's one of his ancestors. And he lives on the land that Nat Turner's family is historically connected to down south. I believe it's in Virginia or somewhere in that region of the United States. Another great book is called Let the Circle Be Unbroken by Dr. Marimba Ani. Very small text, but extremely powerful. There's another one called The Assassination of Malcolm X. And that one is by George Brightman, Herbert Porter, and Baxter Smith. And it goes into actually who killed Malcolm X. There was another book called, I think it was A Journal of Malcolm X, where he actually wrote Diary. Yes, The Diary of Malcolm X. Not many people come across this text. It's another one of those hard to find ones. But you should be able to find it on Amazon. It's called The Diary of Malcolm X, and it is by Herb Boyd and his daughter, Elasa Al-Shabazz. And what the book is let me take a look real quick, because it's basically his diary. I believe it might have been from when he was traveling in Africa. He had like a diary, and he wrote down all of his experiences. Not many people know about this text, but it's a really, really strong text to see Malcolm speaking in his own words about the changes and developments he went through. So let me go back to the other bookshelf and see what other ones I can find. If you're into the Dogon, you can. And
after this, we're going to wrap it down, brother, because the charge is going down on my little gadget here. Okay. So we're going to keep this up. This is going to be a continuous thing, man, because No, go to your books shelf. I just want to say this is going to be a continuous thing. Another idea that I'd like to do, if it's not too much on a regular basis, I'm going to start getting some books. But I have books. I want to get more books, and I'm going to start taking certain books and reading live, right out of the book. Take a chapter and read it live, right? And maybe we can have some folks call in and we discuss it. Yeah, we discuss it, or even take a week on a book, depending on how many chapters it is. Like say, for example, it's 10 chapters. Well, we'll do 2 chapters a day on two on a Monday, and we'll get it done by the Friday, and we can discuss it. And those who are not really into reading, you can kick back and just listen to what we're reading, and then call on the phone and get down in the conversation and absorb that, or at least get some kind of idea what that book is about. Without, we want to support the books and stuff, but they're snatching them down. And sometimes we're a little lean in the pocket. We may not be able to afford it right away. This is a way we can fellowship. We can talk about the books. We can get an idea about it, because we all love to be read to, like when we get to bedtime stories, right? So we got to pool our resources in while they're snatching or erasing our history away. Those who have rare books, please, you can call in, you can read off of it and share it. It doesn't just have to be me. It can be anybody, wherever you are. We can read these books and you have them. So as they erase them off and make them not exist anymore, we still have it. We have the recordings. You see what I mean? Oh, okay. One more thing. To get to the book list, you go to melaninenvy.com or globalblackfamily.org. It's the same destination, 2 different addresses to the same destination. You'll see the big Melanin Envy up top. You sign in. The best way to do it is on the computer. It's a little difficult, and you probably won't get in when you use a smartphone. You're going to have your exact username, the way you want to have it spelled, uppercase and lowercase, whatever name you want to use, a temporary passcode or a passcode. It could be just a passcode because you're putting it in. It's not me putting it in. And your email address that you're going to use to log in. That's what you're going to use. Your email address, temporary passcode, username. Do it on the computer. You'll get in, and discussions are already started. Get down to the discussion. There'll be other parts that are private for different sub-forums. And like I said, it can grow as much as a Facebook. All right? There'll be different sections. Okay? So that's all I can say. But yes, let's wrap this down, brother, because I don't want it to cut off. We'll be back on a little later and into the night. And this is gonna be a regular thing, I promise y'all. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
All right. So another one, I'm gonna just jump to this, is that's really good for people learning the history of what has been done to our leaders and the different techniques that they use to kill our people and set us up. It's called The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders by John Potash. And he has another one called Drugs Used as a Weapon. And that one deals with the use of drugs historically by the United States to anesthetize and dumb down Black people and stop their liberation struggle. Those are must-read texts, I would say, for any Black student, any student of Black history in the Western Hemisphere. If you want to learn about how deep the theft of our people's genetics go, like Sister Rainetta was talking about, you want to read The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by a woman named Rebecca Skloot. And this was a woman who died of, I believe it was ovarian cancer or something like that, cervical cancer, in her early 30s. And this was in the early 1900s. And when they took her genetic material to do testing, they found that her cells could not be killed, that they were immortal. And they ended up using her cells to create so many cures for so many illnesses, it is nauseating. It was her genetics that they used to cure polio. So all of the millions, almost 1 billion people that have the polio vaccine has Henrietta Lacks' genetics in her. And her family never got paid for it and don't have a dime. They're poverty-stricken in Maryland to this day. They can't even afford to go to the doctor, but they've made billions, if not trillions of dollars off of this family's ancestor. The other book is Barracoon, the story of the last black cargo. The story of the last black cargo. It's by Zora Neale Hurston. The book was almost 100 years old. She wrote the book on the very last person, enslaved African, that was brought here on a slave ship, and tells his story. And it is one of the most fascinating stories you'll ever want to read in your life. Again, our people knew where the heck they were from. When you go back to the early history of this country, they referred to themselves as African American. They were not called that by white people. And again, I'm just going to say for everybody on the line, Yale University has the oldest known documented evidence of a black man in America calling himself an African American. And it dates back to 1782. He was a black preacher from Philadelphia, and he put out a flyer to try and get people to come to his church service. Wasn't a white man calling him an African American. He put it in the Philadelphia paper and called himself that. And that was in the 1700s. So they knew where they were from better than we know today with all our quote-unquote technology and quote-unquote information. Dig into our history and do authentic research. Vet your sources and double-check and triple-check them and come to your own conclusion. So with that, I'm going to stop and let you wrap up because, like you said, I don't want the phone to cut off. And hopefully we'll be able to do this again soon.
Yes, indeed, brother. Yes, indeed. I'm going to give a little charge here to the folks who spent the time this afternoon with us. Just know that we love you. It's a labor of love.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful thing. You know, like I said, I might be the bread by having the platform, but you all are the, I can't say meat. Well, I'm not trying to encourage anybody to eat meat, but the righteous ingredients of vegetables between. And this is what makes it a beautiful thing. Look at that. Sister Rainetta said, Lance, I want to go live. I said, okay, bing, hit it. And all of a sudden, the room opened up. No, seriously, this is why you have to move knowing. Like Brother Kwaku says, no, he's not going to have faith. He's not going to have any belief. He's going to know. Don't you got to know? Exactly. We talk this faith thing and this belief thing, but we go to our jobs knowing we're going to get paid at the end of the week. How about you go to the job and say, well, I believe I'm going to get paid. I have faith that I'm going to get paid. You see what I mean? So we know we're going to get paid, and if we don't get paid, we go to the job puffed up like, listen, man, I work for this. This is my money. So why can't we claim our reality, the promises that the Creator made? We have our DNA, and we have all these seeds of greatness inside of us, but we don't know that we can do certain things. We start to think about running off the plantation, but I don't know because I might have to stay a little longer. Why? The mere thought that you're supposed to run off of it and you have a plan and you're going to work that plan, you have the good work ethic, run and don't look back. The bird has no choice but to fly when the mother bird throws a bird out the nest. Spread them wings and work that bad boy, or break your neck or find a cat down there that's going to eat you up. This is the year of knowing, y'all. We need to know. There's so much doubt. There's so much fear. There's so much hesitation. The boxer doesn't see the opening and say, hold on, opponent, trainer, can I hit him right now? The opening is gone. Like we say, there are portals and windows of opportunity. Those windows don't stay open forever. Those portals don't stay open forever. Nobody dunks the ball in the basket after they pass the basket and land back down on the ground. You missed your opportunity. Look what time of the year it is, y'all. 1/3 of the year is almost over. When this month is over, 1/3 of the year is over. And we still think about the stuff from last year. You're supposed to been killing it from January. I like to start my year out strong. I want to finish it up strong, and I want a strong middle, and I'm kicking behind all between them 2 points and them 3 points. Consistency, focus, drive, passion, never giving up. Keep swinging. Your integrity will never be questioned when you're like that, because you'll have a righteous tracks in history, and you'll have a resume that's undeniable. Undeniable. You see, so I'm going to end it right there, brother. I want to thank you so much.
One last book before we
go on in, man. Go on in.
Because I think this book is going to transform a lot of people's consciousness about how sick the system is and the direction it's going in, and how unnatural and deviant it is. Deviantly unnatural. The book is called, and this is a book we started on a book study club on my radio program. We stopped it because we had some other things come up, and we're about to resurrect the book study club soon. But the book is a life-altering text if you want to understand where they're taking us with technology and the fact that we're not going to be any longer human if white people follow their plan. And this book is one of the greatest books dealing with their grand plan. It's called The Fantastic Voyage, Live Long Enough to Live Forever by Ray Kurzweil. And you can find some of Ray Kurzweil's videos on YouTube. His name is Ray, R-A-Y, last name is Kurzweil. It is the most diabolical, non-natural, sickening plan of changing humanity in ways in which we've never seen before and will never see since. And it ties into the matrix and being connected directly to machines, removal of human organs and replacing of your blood cells with nanobots. It's some mind-blowing shit, but they've already started it. They started it since the early 2000s, and their plans are diabolical. Read that book. It will blow your freaking mind and change your life as far as your understanding of the psychopathology of the people who dominate us today and got us wearing dresses as men and looking in the mirror, seeing a vagina instead of a penis and testicles. You can end it there. Thank you, brother.
Okay, brother. Thank you so much. And I also want to say that Brother C-Rob will be down for the Road to Restoration next week. He'll be down here at the Road to Restoration this coming Saturday. And it's going to be phenomenal. We are going to be really going on in, and a lot of people coming from distances. And you know, when you get the momentum going and you're flowing, it's a wonderful thing. But then when you have the momentum, you keep pushing and you make it happen even more so. So I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll be back in a little while. And later on, in the middle of the night, you get up to go to the bathroom. We'll still be on. We'll keep throwing punches, and I want to keep more content coming with all of the righteous knowledge that we can muster. But we have to come as a collective. We have to share our knowledge. We have to come that way because we have a lot of things sitting around in our mental garages that we can share, you know, and it's very valuable. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave right now. Let me just hit this up. You can subscribe to the channel, download the app, the Lance Scurv app at the Google Play Store. In the App Store, it's completely free. We have different little sections there that you can get on your phone and check out the videos on top. You don't have to go to YouTube. You can go to the app and just hit everything right there. It's connected to everything that we do here, everything in the inner circle, okay? Also, the contact information, scurvmedia@gmail.com. My personal cell phone is 407-590-0755. Text messages get through better. Call sometime, the voicemail fills up, or I might have the ringer down. But text messages always get through. I've got to see it. So send me the emails, send me the text, and I will always get back to you. It's a wonderful thing. That being said, I'm going to sign off right now, and let's just enjoy a little music before I sign off. It's much love, y'all, always. Wait a second. I didn't mean to have anybody laugh at me. I'm going to play a song here. Yeah, these white folks won't be laughing when we come into our knowledge.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. from the Mideast. He took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. To America, we were living in the east. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.
You're about to experience the uncensored conversations, stimulating wit, and the thought-provoking wisdom. Bold, raw, and uncut. Right now, on the land.